Hogs can tie it with a three-pointer. Pressure in the backcourt. Devo drops it into Council. Got to go. Ricky at the midcourt stripe. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Tries a three at the horn. It is no good. And Alabama's won this ball game. Alabama's won this ball game by a final of 86-83.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Welcome into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. Arkansas played its heart out Saturday afternoon in Tuscaloosa. Came up a little bit short, as you have several times this season on the road. You thought it was going to go your way with the 9-point lead at half. Fortunately, Alabama and particularly Brandon Miller took over. Basketball to discuss, baseball to discuss, and a whole lot more. Tommy, I did not do a good job when I got that tornado warning on my phone this morning of looking at it and actually doing something about it. I was so groggy and so sleepy, I just heard an alarm, turned it off, and went right back to bed.
You even know what time it was?
12:50.
Yeah, that's about when it went off at my house, too. But fortunately, the tornado warning never reached the parts of the River Valley in western Arkansas. It kind of ended at the state line. But it was a kind of a wild ride in the middle of the night for a lot of us. That stretched from Bella Vista down south of Fort Smith. So, let's talk about it here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell at Wheels RV. Again, 5 miles west of Exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. I didn't do as good a job. Not only did I fumble around to try to get that stopped, then somehow I managed to turn my alarm off in the process as well throughout all of that.
How did you manage to do that?
I don't know. I was asleep. And I didn't go back to sleep for a while.
Did you have any issue waking up when it
I woke up okay. I mean, I'm here. It's on time, but no, I mean, somehow I fouled up my alarm, too, for this morning. So
that's always, again, as we've talked about before, one of the scariest things as a morning radio host is to accidentally sleep in and miss the show, miss your alarm or whatever the case may be. I know that over the years, for some that's happened, or you've had work in certain situations where you've done it, but that's definitely something that people do not like.
I mean, obviously, very fortunate it did. What if it had been bearing down in your neighborhood? What if the tornado had been coming for your home? And
I would have heard the siren, because the siren is directly above our house. So if that would have started going off, then I would have been up. But once the alarm went off, as I said, opened it, turned it off, and
we turned on the TV and realized that, in fact, it wasn't long after that they canceled whatever warning. But never was a warning, never escalated to that. But pretty high winds and some rain, apparently, middle of the night. I imagine there's a lot of people a little groggy this morning, because that thing, like I said, stretched the western side of the state for a pretty good distance from Bella Vista down to south of Fort Smith.
When that alarm goes off in the middle of the night, not the alarm on your phone, but the tornado siren, that, again, it's directly above our house.
It's a different tone, too, and it's a different volume.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sit straight up in bed alarm.
Yeah, it is. It has woken me up upright before, and I like, you know how sometimes you've gotten something that startled you so much that it motions you and flicks you out of bed. That one, it was a year or so ago. It scared me so much that I fell out of bed.
I didn't do that, but I know what you're saying. Well, let's take the basketball game Saturday. You go on the road, you have a double-digit lead again on the road against a great team, and you find a way to come up short at the end.
It's just the same old story, different page. That's all it is. I mean, one of the things we're going to ask later on this morning is what's missing from this basketball team late in games. And for a while, as you didn't have your closer, Nick Smith Jr., he was there, and he tried to will you back, had a great steal, had a great step-back three-pointer over 6'10" Noah Clowney, and he didn't get the ball at the end when Tom Murphy asked him. Did you listen to that? Did you listen to Nick's press conference? Oh, it was so funny because he's steaming mad as I was and everyone else was after the game. Tom asked him after, so what was the thing at the end? He's just like, get a three. He's like, and he said something, paraphrasing, do you like how it played out? It's like, we didn't make it. Like, he wanted the ball in his hands.
Sure. I mean, they have 7 or 8 seconds or whatever it was, and Council, they let Council have that boundary. I mean, that's probably a shot that Nate Oates in Alabama was very willing to allow happen, and just was a tough angle from that left elbow or corner, whatever you want to call it. Wasn't deep in the corner, but Council's probably not the one you want taking that shot in that moment.
Surprised they didn't foul Arkansas in that situation.
Well, Jimmy talked about that there at the end, that if it was about 4 seconds, you probably do that. 7 or 8 seconds, probably too much time.
Okay. At that situation, what I said in a Hog reaction with DQ is Nick's got to go get the ball. Arkansas has to do a better job of trying to get him the ball. In that situation, he was guarded, but he just kind of stood at the top of the key to the center court and was waiting on it. He has as a true freshman, you got to go demand that ball. That has to be the Nick's ball. Not to say Ricky's hit some step back threes throughout this year. I don't know about game winners or game tying attempts. I don't know if he's even had an opportunity this year. But I want the ball in Nick's hand in that situation. If you're going to go down with Nick Smith Jr. shooting a step-back fadeaway three. Again, as much as I love Ricky Council, who had a good game, by the way, played great, 5 of 9, hit a bunch of free throws, 10 free throws. I want Nick shooting that final shot.
Yeah, free throws still a problem, but you say, well, what's the issue? Why can you not win on the road? I think if you go back and you look at these road games against the better opponents, you don't win the battle of the runs. I mean, Eric Busman talks about there's going to be, 2 or 3 big runs in the game. Can you win 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4? And Arkansas spent that middle stretch of the second half in a drought. Alabama went in a drought late, but there wasn't very many possessions left, and there was too deep a hole to overcome. That allowed Arkansas to get within 3, but the hole was too deep. Mm-hmm. So I think if you go back and you really look at what happens in these games, the home team gets to have one more scoring run than the road team, and Arkansas comes up short in every one of those situations.
If you're the Arkansas Razorbacks, you can't go 5 minutes without scoring the basketball and expect to beat the number 2 team in the country in their home arena. That's just not going to happen. In no way, shape, or form are you going to be able to overcome a 5-minute scoring drought on the road against a top 5 team in college basketball. And there are other parts and other things that you lost on Saturday, but that, as you said, coming out second half, you punched him in the mouth at the end of the first half. It was great. It's fun. You're up 9, feeling good. Nick's hit that little baseline pull-up floater, and you're going to half thinking, let's go. And then they just came out, Brandon Miller, Sears, and those guys, they just came out and whipped you, man. They whipped you early, and you didn't recover after that, unfortunately, until the very end.
Well, and, Alabama had a 15, that middle stretch there of the second half, 15-point scoring run. And that, to me, is what doomed you. I mean, you can look at free throws. Arkansas, they weren't as bad as some made it out down the stretch. They made some free throws down the stretch before the game. You left 9 points on the board. If you get half of those, that's enough. 20 of 29. Bama went 25 of 30. That's what great teams do. And, there's a lot about Alabama and the way they're handling their business and how they brought their starters onto the floor. There's a lot of things we can talk about. But in the end, they made the shots that count. And when Arkansas put them on the line, they made the shots that count at the end. So I thought it was a rough, physical game. A lot of contact going to the hole that the defenders were there. And I thought it was a good game. Arkansas was allowed to block a lot of shots. They had 6 blocks in this game. So I thought it was a good physical game that Arkansas played well, played up to their opponent, but in the end came up short on the scoreboard. Hey, we're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is their number. You can call while now be installed this week. March Madness is just around the corner. You don't want to be watching without all your favorite channels. And when the home stretch here with the SEC tournament, all of the big conference tournaments, you want to make sure you've got TV the way you want. If you've cut the cord and you're not happy with the viewing experience, World of Wireless can get that back for you with plans starting at $79.99 a month and a 3-year price guarantee. 877-305-DISH for WOW, World of Wireless.
When we return, we'll get some more of your calls and texts. Again, if you have a thought process on this, feel free to jump in here. Arkansas falls 86-83 in Alabama over the weekend. We'll react coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Is there anything worse than a cold shower? How about water damage after a leaking water heater? If it's time for a new water heater, you deserve the best. Right now, take $150 off a new tank water heater, or upgrade to endless hot water with a tankless water heater and get $300 off. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at gopascal.com. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
With kids, school, work, and home, my life is very complicated. I have no time to waste. That's why Jody's is my place for my car. They have pickup and delivery and free shuttle service. I don't have time for waiting rooms. They do everything, even the technical stuff, and coupons to save me money. Jody's. That's all.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Coke Zero Sugar tastes so good, people will take a taste any way they can. You never know when your best friend will lunge across a table and grab for it. A stranger could subtly swipe it, or your little brother might just ask for one too many sips. So no matter what you're doing, or who you're with, when you're enjoying a Coke Zero Sugar, be ready to protect it from takers at all times. Because one sip begs the question, is this the best Coke ever? Take a taste and see.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Woo Pig Suey, and it's fantastic when people call it. Now, if things aren't going well, sometimes they yell Woo Pig Fooey, and that isn't real good. That's bad luck. Calling Hogs, they go, Suey.
Arkansas throws it in. Gotta hurry. Council, they need three-pointers. Goes all the way to the rim. It goes and one. How about that?
Streaming live at hitthatline.com.
Got plenty of text to get into already this morning. I know a lot of reaction to Arkansas's close loss to Alabama on Saturday afternoon. You were close. Again, came up just short. We'll get to some of those texts in just a sec.
Hey, we are brought to you by the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. They're still coming off that spawn on the White River, and the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue's a great way to go catch a trophy brown or rainbow right now on the White River, the Norfolk River, below Beaver. Take that thing along. Always have one nearby when you're going trout fishing. It suspends in the strike zone, helps you catch more fish, works right down the lakes real well. So if you want to throw a good rogue, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue is one of them. Find them at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LearNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
I remember Chuck telling us this last week that he expected Nate Oates and Brandon Miller to have the loudest ovation of any Alabama fan. I know Jimbo and Stamps texting in this morning that he had 4 friends at the game, and it was exactly that. He feels like it was truly sickening. I mean, we kind of expected that. Tommy, did we not?
Yeah, I mean, they've been surprising the fans on a day where they were promoting a whiteout with T-shirts and trying to get that arena to the next level, that they didn't support their own that had been under the gun all week with all the scrutiny. So yeah, I think that's right.
Brandon and Smack Daddy also speaking of the same thing we were talking about last segment, free throws. Now, I pointed this out on social media. Arkansas last season was the top 40 team in free throws. They were great. 39 is where they were at by season's end. You know where they're at this year?
Oh, free throws, they're it's like 200 and something.
264th.
Yeah, like 254 during the game. They may have fell.
264th in all of college basketball in free throws. How many games this season would have been W's instead of L's if you could just knock down some free throws, y'all? And I know J.D. Notte was a big part of that. He shot over 80% this last year and was consistently getting fouled and getting to the rim. These guys have to, and you pointed it out, they did hit some clutch free throws down the stretch, but, I mean, there have been stretches throughout games this year where they cannot buy it from the line. And if that's their strength, getting to the rim, getting to the basket, you have to finish that second part of what's required, and they haven't been able to do that consistently this year.
Yep. I mean, in the first half, free throws, Arkansas was 8 of 9. In the second half of the game at the free throw line, Arkansas went 12 of 20. So, I mean, a much different deal. Here's the number that stands out to me that just makes you sick. Alabama for the game, 3 of 22 from three-point range. They took it to the rim. They didn't give up on shooting those threes, obviously taking 22 of those. You see that stat, and you see them go 13%, 45% for the game. Tells you how many points they got at the rim with 52 paint points. But, man, a team that can only make 3 three-pointers of their caliber, that ought to be a path to a victory in their gym.
And you hit 5 of 10, so you not only shot 12 less three-pointers than they did, but you hit 2 more. You shot 50%, which if you're an Arkansas fan, you take every single day. If you go 5 of 10 from the three-point line as a team that has not shot the ball well from distance this year, you take that. And as Tommy pointed out, the fact that you held him and you limited him to that many misses was pretty awesome. And a lot of that goes to Devo Davis and what he did on Brandon Miller. Once again, Brandon only had 7 in the first half, then started to get going a little bit in the second half. But Arkansas defensively limited, and you can only do so much against a team like the Alabama Crimson Tide and what they have on offense with Clowney, Bediako. Sears didn't have a good game. He absolutely got to you in Fayetteville for 26. Didn't have his best game. Did knock down some free throws, but really, it's Javon Quinterly in the second half. That was the one that ate you alive.
I mean, Sears only missed 6 minutes, but he spent part of his time on that exercise bike trying to keep that leg, whatever happened there. But yeah, I mean, you had a chance to win this game. And it seems like Arkansas plays up to their competition and at times down to their competition. I thought Arkansas played a great game. I mean, you leave feeling good about how your team played, but you didn't win the game.
Yeah, you can win in Knoxville on Tuesday night. Tennessee struggles to score the ball at times. You just got to find a way to close out a close game. Aaron in Wichita texted, he said, why didn't Jalen Graham get more run in the second half? I had that question asked to me about 20 times on Saturday, especially during that scoring drought. I get Jalen is not the same defender as McKellen Mackay. I completely understand that. But he did have 3 blocks in the first half on Saturday. I was like, who is this kid? I haven't seen this defense all season long. And he's not as good as a rebounder defensively. I get that as well. Bediako, Clowney, and Miller, 6'9", 6'10", and 7 feet. But when you can't score the basketball, and McKellen Mackay aren't threats from the elbow, which I don't know if I've seen him hit an elbow jumper all season outside that one that beat the shot clock. You got to add something else there. And when, again, that scoring drought, you've got to try something new. And I just don't understand why Jalen Graham didn't get any run until, the last 2 or 3 minutes in the second half?
Hard to answer why Eric Musselman does what he does, but at the end, you had to have your three-point shooters. You looked who was in the game the last minute or so, you were needing threes. Jalen Graham's not the guy you're going to for 3. So, I understand the sentiment, but down the stretch, who did you have to have? You had to have somebody, and Devo passed up that one that was top of the key wide open.
And you got to turn the ball over.
Yeah, you got to pull the trigger on that one, and probably regrets that possession. Would love to have at least fired up, see what happens.
And it's not like he was shooting bad. He was 3 for 4.
Yeah,
he knocked down 75% of his three-pointers. Devo had a great game. He was awesome. And he's doing all that while exerting an insane amount of energy on the other end, guarding Brandon Miller. That ended up being, I think Arkansas was down 9 at that point, and then Alabama came down and either hit a layup or hit 2 free throws down the stretch, which would have cut if he would have made it. Because I think Devo would have made that top of the key 3. And I think they would have cut it to within 6. So at one point they got it to within 6, and then Quinterly hit that corner 3. I think he hit a 3, Miller hit a 3, and I'm forgetting maybe Clowney hit one as well. But that's a team that's really talented in so many different areas, and you held them to 3 of 22. I think Arkansas wants another crack at these guys, whether it's in Nashville, whether it's the NCAA tournament. I get a sense from this basketball team that there's still some unfinished business left on the table based on the way they didn't have Nick in Fayetteville, based on the way they weren't able to close it out in Tuscaloosa. I think this team wants another crack at Alabama.
The game in Fayetteville, what was it, about 7 minutes or something to go? Bama comes out of a timeout. They hit 3 3-pointers in a row, and that was it. Curtains. It wasn't really that moment. Arkansas took them to the end. This time it had to fight back to get back in the game after that scoring drought in the middle of the second half. So, yeah, I think Alabama would not want to play Arkansas for a third time because it's hard to beat a good Arkansas team 3 times in a season, but that's where Bama would be.
The other thing down the stretch is I don't understand why you kept fouling Mark Sears. He's probably their best free throw shooter, and you just kept on fouling him. Double team him out of bounds. Don't let him get the ball. Let anyone else beat you. That guy consistently knocked down free throws down the stretch and kept Arkansas at bay. Put anyone else on the line in that situation. I don't care who it is, just not that kid, because he was clutch at the tail end of that game.
He shot 10 of the 30 attempts and made 9 of their 25 made free throws in the game. So you're exactly right. He was the guy that was making it happen at the free throw line. Hey, we're brought to you this morning by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. They have job openings right now in North Central Arkansas and Boone, Marion, and Baxter counties. Also in Benton and Washington counties and all over Northwest Arkansas. Go to jobs.crh.com. and you can apply. Great sign-on bonus, top pay, benefits that include retirement, insurance, and profit sharing as well. So if you've got experience as a diesel mechanic, CDL licensed driver, paving experience with concrete or asphalt, been on a construction site before, they're looking to talk to you at APAC Arcola. Go to jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
Chuck joins us coming up. We'll get his reaction next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV. Highway 412 in Spring.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got coffee.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I think you've got it. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Without the headache. Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Got by Walsh. Hogs double team.
Wow.
Council knocked it away. Stolen by Nick Smith to the other end. A dunk, and the Hogs are within 5.
All right, still reacting to Arkansas's 3-point loss on the road in Tuscaloosa. Chuck joins us next. He was live there for obvious reasons. We'll get his thoughts coming up.
Hot Take Monday, always brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The top brands like Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance, all at the best prices. They even have a mobile service shuttle that will come to you and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Good morning, Chuck.
Guys, how are you?
Man, it's Monday. Making it through. Didn't get hit by a tornado last night, which is always good.
That's always good. I know it was the weather. I slept through it, but I know there was some weather.
Did your phone wake you up about
No.
1 o'clock? Ours did. That That sound that will make you sit up straight in the middle of the night. You know,
it'll wake the neighbors up.
Yes.
So. I know the sound. No, I didn't hear it.
So, Chuck, what was your biggest takeaway from Saturday?
Well, you talking about the game or you talking about everything else?
Let's just talk about the game first, and we'll get into the rest of that. I thought Pat Forty had a pretty good piece on that.
Well, I thought it was a really physical game. I mean, It was a hotly contested game. They could have called a lot more fouls. I'm glad they didn't, but they could have. I mean, they were just shoving each other all over the place, even out on the perimeter. I thought Arkansas competed hard. I mean, it was a hostile environment, and I didn't think they lost their poise down the stretch. Now, I do think there were some points early in the second half where Alabama really took over. And I think there were some points where Arkansas was a little bit starry-eyed, at least some of them were. But I thought they collected themselves and played well down the stretch. Had a chance, if you'd said when they were down 12 with 2:48 to go, they're going to get a 3 to try to send it into overtime, I don't know that I'd have believed that. I thought they were masterful in the last 2:48 in terms of how they got back in it. But Alabama's really good. I mean, they've got good players. And, it's the number 2 team on their home floor on a Saturday afternoon. Most of the time they're going to win. I thought Arkansas really competed well. I think it'll serve them well. And if it works out where they play again in the conference tournament, I'm looking forward to that game.
I think Arkansas wants to play them again. Now, I said this stat earlier, Chuck, and I think Hot Stacks was the one that had it. 5th time this season you've had a road lead of 8 points or more that you've let slip away. I mean, if you're Eric Musselman in this staff, how do you come to grips with that? And you're this team. How do you overcome that like they did in Lexington and Columbia?
Well, I think the good news is you only have one more of those games, and that's tomorrow night. That's the last one of those games that you have. Every game after that's on a neutral floor, with the exception, obviously, of the Kentucky game in Fayetteville. So, you try to survive these road games. I think Arkansas is still in a very good position to be in the NCAA tournament. In fact, I think they're in. That's what you ultimately will be remembered for, when you get to the NCAA tournament. But I don't think they played badly on the road. They've just not quite been able to close some of these games out. And, a lot of the places, like, for example, people come out of the Alabama game saying, well, what do they have to do to close out a game on the road? Well, I mean, look at what Alabama's done at home this year. Look at what they've done to everybody else. I mean, Arkansas gave them a run for their money. And so I don't think they've got anything to hang their heads about.
And you think about the quality opponent. You were 15th in net ranking. For whatever you value that going into the game, you lose the game, you move up one. So, I mean –
yeah, and the same thing, you can play tomorrow night, and you can lose, and probably the same thing would happen. That's why I say I think Arkansas is in. So I think they're in.
You just played number 2. You play number 3, like you say, tomorrow night. Kentucky this morning, the net ranking is number 20. So that's what you face this week is
2 quad ones,
2 quad ones, and 1 at home. And I think if you just go 1 of 2 this week. You can find a way to do that. I don't think you have any concerns when you leave for Nashville.
I honestly think they could go 0-2 this week and lose in the first round of the tournament and still be in, based on the metrics and where they are right now. I don't think that's going to happen, and I'm not saying that should be your goal, but I think they're in. I think they're in, and we'll see what happens. But everything that I've seen the last 24 hours has them in an 8 or a 9 spot. I don't think you drop out from there. I just don't think, even like let's say in a worst case scenario, they fall on their faces this week and don't have a good game in the first round of the conference tournament. 2 of those 3 games, I mean, are not going to hurt you at all in the net. And the other, by this point in the season, even a so-called bad loss, which you're not going to have in terms of the numbers on a neutral floor, I don't even think that would be enough to knock them out. I think they're in, but I hope they don't go 0-3 and have to prove me right.
Me neither. Mathematically, you're set to play on Thursday next week in Nashville. It's just a matter of when. Right now, if you were to if you were to play today as the 8 seed, you'd play at 12 o'clock next Thursday in Nashville. But going to see how not only you fare in Knoxville on Tuesday and then against the Wildcats on Saturday, but how it plays out. Chuck, what did you think of Anthony Black? He had an off game. That's one of the worst SEC games that he played. And really, it was kind of odd to say, and I hadn't said this at all this season. They looked better without him off the court in the first half and just didn't have a great second half. What did you think of AB's game on Saturday?
He didn't have his best game. He's Alabama's really, I won't go so far as to say they've had his number twice, but they've made it really hard on him twice. And no, he didn't have his best game Saturday, and there were times. Just like any player, if you're having a bad game, there's going to be times they play better without you. And yeah, there were some points Saturday where I thought they got into a little bit better flow, but make no mistake about it. If they're going to beat Tennessee, they're going to need Anthony Black to play well. And if they're going to win moving forward, they're going to need him to play well. Thought he had a bad game, just to be honest.
Yeah, and he fouled out at the end. He seemed frustrated with kind of where he left the team there at the end, leaving the game with his 5th foul, Chuck.
Well, he got in foul trouble early. And, that'll ruin your day. It'll get you out of sorts, and it affects everything that happens the rest of the afternoon, not just for the individual, but for the team, particularly when it's a player like him. So I thought that kind of set the tone for him early when he got a couple of early fouls. There was one of them where he just kind of pushed the guy in the back. It was a pretty obvious foul. I just thought he had a frustrating day.
Javon Quinterly didn't do anything really against you in Fayetteville, but that second half, Chuck, there wasn't anyone on that court that could guard him. And I said it last time. I think that kid's a punk. I hate playing him. He's one of the most annoying players in the SEC, but he ripped you apart on Saturday.
Yeah, Arkansas didn't stop the ball very well at times in the second half. And, that open three that he got at the end was a dagger from over there in the corner. And, I think coaches will sit down and break down that film, and they've already seen things in that play that we didn't see. But I think that you can probably point to 2 or 3 defensive breakdowns that led to really big baskets for the other side.
You entered the week with the 2 games right now alone in 8th place in the league. I guess if you go 0-2 and Florida and Mississippi State both go 2-0 somehow this week, and I hadn't looked at their schedule.
It's possible.
They could flip past you. But right now you seem like you were talking a second ago, Ty, solidly in that second group of 4 teams, but you're on the tail end of it. You got to win one to make sure you're in there. There's 3 teams, Missouri, Auburn, and Vanderbilt, teams that you feel like you're better than at points this year that all are a game ahead of you at 9-7. So you need some help to climb up in the seedings. I don't know that's paramount to anything, but right now you sit alone in 8th in the conference standings this morning at 8-8.
Well, if you're going to win the tournament, it would be nice not to have to face Alabama on Friday. Nobody would, in their perfect world, would say, all right, we're going to play the conference champion or the team that I suspect is going to be the conference champion. You don't want to play them right off the bat or in your second game. But, here's the deal. This is how it's played out. And based on what happened Saturday, based on what or where they may be seated, that really doesn't affect my view right now of whether or not they can win some games and make a run. I think there's the talent there that if they get hot, as you've got to do if you're going to make a run through a tournament. I think the talent's there to do that. Nothing that happened Saturday changed my mind. Whether they're a 7, 8, 9, or 10 seed at the conference tournament, not going to change my mind. If Arkansas plays Alabama on Friday, let's go do it again because I'll take my chances against those guys, even though they are very good.
Hard to beat a good team 3 times, guys.
I want to play.
That's what they say, but good teams sometimes do beat other teams 3 times.
Yeah, I want to stay on that for a sec. Would you rather play them on Friday or Saturday and Sunday? Because sometimes we've seen teams that haven't played just yet, and you get used to playing there once. I think I'd rather play Alabama on Friday rather than because if you play them on Saturday, you'll have 2 games that you've already played. Playing on Sunday, that's 3. I'd rather play those guys on Friday.
We'll call them up and let's just re-bracket this thing.
Does your scenario only include playing Thursday, or does your scenario include playing, because what you don't want to do is you've played 2 games already.
You can't play Wednesday. You're mathematically ineligible to play it out of Wednesday.
Okay,
you
so
automatically are.
But they're going to be on 5 or 6.
Well, now, are you sure about that? Are you sure
Go look
Arkansas is
at it.
locked into Thursday?
I
think there's a way they could be. There's a way they could drop.
I mean,
it's highly unlikely. I've seen it. I can't articulate it to you off the top of my head, but I don't think they've clinched Thursday yet.
You've got the one win over
crazy things could
Georgia.
happen.
You've got the one win over Georgia, the head-to-head. They're 6-10. You're 8-8. If you drop 2 and they won 2, you've got the head-to-head.
What about Florida? What about
Mississippi State?
That's outside. They're not. It's just the 4 seeds on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get bogged down in that. I think they're going to play Thursday too.
Yeah.
But, we'll see how it all shakes out.
I would rather play Alabama if you play on Thursday night and you play them on Friday than rather play them on Saturday or Sunday where you would have 2 or 3 games. It's not like that it's 100% locked into playing, but, guys, I'd rather play them on Friday, 100%.
Well, I guess. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Sometimes you get to Saturday or Sunday and you're riding that emotional wave, and I've seen that happen with teams. I do think, while it's very, very difficult to win 4 games in 4 days or even 3 games in 3 days, if you're not one of the better teams, it can be done. But I understand what you're saying. I wouldn't argue with that. Unfortunately, we don't have a choice. I mean, if Arkansas plays on Thursday and they're an 8 or a 9 seed and they win that game, they'll play the top seed, and it sure looks like it's going to be Alabama. So regardless of what you'd rather have, that's how it's going to be.
Let me support your point with this. We see Kentucky, when Kentucky's really good, a lot of times their fans will wait till they win on Friday and then come for the weekend. A lot of people will try to just make it a weekend trip to Nashville. So there will be a portion, and this is true with it. Alabama, Arkansas, when they've been really good, has done the same thing. And your fan base in totality that's going to be there for the weekend won't show up till Saturday and sometimes Sunday when your surprise team may be in the championship game. So it would probably be less daunting, even in a neutral site, to play them on Friday versus Saturday or Sunday.
It's going to be curious. And last year, there was a lot of various teams. Florida had some good fan turnout. Tennessee had a great turnout in Tampa, but Nashville being more center, who ends up dominating. Kentucky always does. We'll see how many Alabama fans end up making the trip to Nashville. Chuck, what did you think about that final sequence? We heard your call, the top bar open. I know Nick was asked about that in the post game. That's what JT in Laurel, Mississippi wants to ask. How do you not get the ball to Nick Smith in that situation?
Well, because there's 5 guys on the other team trying to make sure he doesn't. I mean,
And less than 10 on the clock.
And less than 10 on the clock. I mean, you got to go. And sometimes that's how the play plays out, so to speak. In a perfect world, you got Nick shooting that shot. Nobody's on him, in a perfect world. But, that's one of those things people say after the fact. I mean, that's, the simple answer would be because you're playing the number 2 team in the country on their home floor, and I'm sure that, they talked about making sure he didn't get the ball. And, Council's not a bad bet with the ball in his hand. Just the shot didn't go in.
Yeah. And you got to get it to him off the inbound because there's risk in making a pass in that moment. I mean, you only had, 7.8, if I remember right?
Sounds
right.
right.
It's like 8 seconds left. I mean, and you had to go the full length. So, I mean, Council got a okay look. Was it a great look? He was kind of fading on the corner there to the left. But, I mean, I've seen worse shots in situations like that.
It's the best look you could hope for with 7.8 left. I mean, short of just a total and complete defensive breakdown, which you're not going to get in a situation like that. That's as good a shot as you can hope for. It just didn't go in.
Our number this morning is 877-377-6963. Charlie in Camden is with us now. Charlie, go ahead, man.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I agree with all you guys. I think I even saw somebody that was doing a bracket thing that had us even go up to a 7 seed at this point, even with just that loss. Like our net rankings, Tommy, I don't know if you've looked at it, but I think our net rankings definitely did not go down.
No, we went to you're at 14 versus you were at 15 on Saturday. You're at 14 this morning.
Yeah, so it's because you go and do Tuscaloosa. And I think Arkansas is like the only team that has really given them a game down there other than Mississippi State. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you got to make your free throws in the second half. I mean, if we're going to point to anything that they got to do a little bit better job of, and that's one. And the scoring lull that happened, it happened. But, listen, I knew Alabama was going to make a run. I mean, we all knew it was going to happen eventually. And so I think the thing is, when you get into that point, you got to make your free throws. And I think Arkansas was leading the rebounding battle before halftime, and then they wound up losing it by 11. Oh,
they
Alabama
were tied. They were tied at halftime.
Yeah, I thought Alabama I don't know, they just got to the ball more in the second half. They got the loose balls, they got the rebounds, and to me, you guys talked about Anthony Black. That was one of his worst games of the year. I don't think either Mitchell twin played their best as far as getting rebounds. Now, I think one of them had 8, and he was blocking some shots, but the other, I think it's the starting one. He didn't have his better game, one of his better games of the year. I mean, it was probably one of the worst games he played. And I thought maybe we should have tried Graham, but I understand that he does lack some defensive effort and things of that. But, yeah, I put some points on the board on the road, man, at the end of the day. But I'm not mad. This team is fine. You lose by 3 on the road to Alabama. We're in a good spot. I mean, I still think we got a shot tomorrow night, and I think we got a chance to beat Kentucky. I'd much rather be 7 or 10 than I would be 8 or 9. That's just me, though, guys. Anyways, I'll hang up and listen. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charlie. Chuck, what did you think about Jalen Graham not really getting many minutes till the tail end of that second half?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said there, Ty.
Oh, sorry. What did you think about Jalen Graham not really getting any play until the tail end of that?
I really
second
didn't
half?
think anything about it. Honestly, I didn't think anything about it. Arkansas scored 83 points. I mean, they scored 83 points.
Nothing you want to add, Tom?
Well, I mean,
they had a 5-minute scoring drought in the second half.
That's a pretty open question. I mean, what do you think about Jalen Graham not playing?
Well, no,
I
thought
I didn't think anything about it, to be honest with you.
I don't think it was the difference in the ball game. I think Chuck said it right. And I was thinking about this last night when I was rewatching the game again. This was a game that Arkansas needed to probably couldn't keep it into the 60s because Alabama's just too potent offensively. A game in the 80s just doesn't favor the Razorbacks. I mean, Arkansas, you look down the wins, how many of them are in the 60s this year? I mean, this just wasn't a game. And moving forward, whether it's Tennessee tomorrow, whether it's Kentucky next week, it's hard for Arkansas when the scoring totals get into the 80s. They just don't win a lot in that range. So,
well, see, I thought both teams struggled to stop the ball. I thought both teams struggled to stop the ball, and here's why I say that. You look at the end of the ball game. You remember what Muss said last week. We talked about it, how he's going to, Arkansas is going to have to share the ball. This is going to have to be like the Georgia game, high assist game. Well, the game ends. Arkansas has made 29 baskets, and they've got 6 assists. Alabama, at the end of the ball game, they've made 29 baskets as well. They have 13 assists. That's not a real high total even for Alabama, and it's a low total for Arkansas. So at first glance, you think, well, wow, they didn't share the ball very well. Must not have been a good offensive day. They didn't do what the coach said last week they were going to need to do. And yet you look at the scoreboard, and it's 86-83. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you teams aren't stopping the ball. Arkansas's biggest liability Saturday was they didn't stop the ball. Alabama's biggest liability Saturday was they didn't stop it either. And that's why the point totals got high. Now, if somebody can't stop you going to the rim, you keep going to the rim.
Yeah.
But now Arkansas's problem on the other end, and you talked about Quinterly earlier, they just couldn't stop Alabama from getting to the rack in the second half. They beat them off the dribble. That's why there weren't a lot of assists. I don't know that this game really unfolded offensively the way a lot of people thought it would, because I think, frankly, most people thought the two defenses would be better at stopping the ball, and neither one of them did a very good job at it.
See, I thought it was a game where you went to the hole hard. The officials allowed you to block shots. It was a physical ball game. It was, a lot of offensive initiated contact going to the hole, and Arkansas didn't make enough of those shots inside. You look at the defensive rebounding differences, 34-24. Arkansas went to the hole a lot of times. There was no assist because you dribbled it into the hole.
That's right.
That's
exactly right.
That's exactly how Arkansas attacked this game, was going to the hole, but you missed those shots going into double teams. Alabama gets the rebound, and that's that.
And if not for the fouls at the tail end of that game, Arkansas would have shot more free throws than the Crimson Tide, except you had to foul them at the tail end to get back in it.
Yeah, and, when you look at how that game, that's how you want the game worked because Arkansas wants to go for block shots. And I thought early on in this game, Chuck, they were messing with Alabama's head a little bit with the way they were blocking shots.
They certainly protected the rim early on. That's for sure. And look, Alabama's got a little more length than Arkansas does. And I thought there were times when that showed too.
Last year, the best front court in college basketball was Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith. This year, it's a combination of Brandon Miller, Noah Clowney, and Bediako, and you were still able to attack them at times pretty consistently throughout that game.
So, I thought it was a fun game, but a physical game, and probably one that you won't see, probably a game more physical than that moving forward, because it will not be that physical, I believe, in the NCAA tournament. I think that's about as physical as it's going to get.
It may be tomorrow night, and it may be Saturday, but that was a physical game, that's for sure.
That gum sure was. Hey, do you have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate? It's probably a problem right now that's getting ready to come to term, and your payment's getting ready to make a major jump. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed-rate loan from Farm Credit. Their terms are the longest in the ag industry. And don't worry, if rates drop, you can refinance at that point and readjust your rate with no refinancing application, no new appraisal, and no new title work. Farm Credit just makes it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal housing lender.
Let's talk to Jimmy in Conway this morning. Good morning, Jimmy.
Top of the morning to you, fellas. Hey, I want to say how proud I am that we have Coach Muss. After what Alabama did in the pregame introductions, they're like, to quote my friend from Fat Albert, they're like school on Sunday, no class. It's just, I'd be embarrassed. That's embarrassing to me. If I was an Alabama fan, I would be wanting something done. That's rubbing it in the family. I just don't think it's right, guys. But Saturday, if you don't make free throws and you can't stop them getting to the rack, you're not going to win. And I think it's miraculous that we kept it as close as we did, given the layups that we gave up and missed free throws. If we make half the free throws, we win the game. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy. Just to put that in perspective, what Jimmy's talking about for those that don't know, Brandon Miller got pat down in his pregame routine. Pat, like security guard, pat down. Now, apparently he's been doing that all season long, but for Nate Oates, his 11 assistants, Greg Byrne, who's sitting there, and everyone else, I don't know how you let that happen. That is an absolute disgrace to that university that you let, after all that's been talked about this week, you let that kid get pat down in his pregame warm-up. That's a joke.
Well, you've got to remember, too, and I know we'll get, at least I hope we get into this more in the next hour. That's been going on for 5 games since the murder. That's been going on for 5 games, and nobody noticed? Are you kidding me?
Pretty tone deaf, and that didn't even appear on national TV. The TV broadcast came in right at the tip, but it made the rounds on social media.
It made the rounds on social media. Now, if you watch the SEC network, it never happened. But if you watched a real show, it did.
But Nick Saban was there. Justin Thomas was there. Nick Saban was there.
He was.
We got to see that.
They did.
Yeah.
Justin Thomas, like a lot of those guys, is not a real tall guy.
That's pretty short. Hour 2 is coming up next on the Morning Rush. If you've got some thoughts, get them in here. 877-377-6963. Hot Take Monday rolling along.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design. Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Is there anything worse than a cold shower? How about water damage after a leaking water heater? If it's time for a new water heater, you deserve the best. Right now, take $150 off a new tank water heater, or upgrade to endless hot water with a tankless water heater and get $300 off. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at gopascal.com. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith. Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance, and Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren, 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach.
Final of 86-83.
BetOne.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
It's
So we talked entirely basketball in hour number one. Do want to share what the baseball team did over the weekend. Softball right now in Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll do that in hour two coming up in just a bit, Tommy.
Also had the SEC Indoor Track Meet, track championship on campus as well this weekend that went well for the Razorbacks. We're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. All the top brands like Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance, with a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell and a mobile service shuttle that will come to you to keep you camping. It's all at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Chuck, did you bring back any Alabama white sauce from your trip?
No, I did not. I did not bring anything back.
That is a favorite. You had it for the first time, what, a year or so ago, Tommy?
Oh, no, I had it at Blue Moon down there. We used to go there about every year during SEC Media Days, and that's the best one I found that I like, at Blue Moon Barbecue.
It is it's got a cinnamon, it's a white sauce with some cinnamon in it and some other flavoring, but it is very good. Do you have any barbecue down there, Chuck?
No, I did not have any barbecue, as a matter of fact. It was a work trip, man. We had a day game.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't going out Friday night.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if it's early, you've got early prep, early shoot around, and all that. Let's talk to Brent, who's in Stuttgart this morning. Good morning, Brent.
You got me?
We got you, man.
Loud and clear.
Brent.
Hey, great. Hey, Chuck. Great music on the lead-in today, because Alabama's on the final countdown with Nate Oates and Greg Byrne as athletic director. I just want you to know that school has sold their soul for an 18-year-old boy that can put the ball in the basket. And if you want to do that, so be it. But Alabama's has been a very classic athletic department and classy athletic department, and they've let it go way too far. And Nate Oates will be teaching math back at Romulus High School before too much longer.
Stats. He taught stats. Was that the worst math class? That was as bad as algebra is statistics. And it wasn't like trying to figure out the percentage of field goals or something. Statistics was a whole different thing when you got into a classroom.
Oh no,
I never took it, so I don't know.
It was
I was
terrible.
going to say I didn't take it either.
Hey Chuck,
terrible.
You have to take two classes. You have to take two classes if you're trying to get your master's and doctorate. I had two of them, and that was enough.
Yeah.
I said a master's is plenty.
I thought we were going to be discovering third down efficiencies. That's not what we were doing in statistics.
They didn't even have Excel when you were in college, did they?
Barely had computers.
Yeah, I was going to say that must have been real.
We were
rough.
working off an abacus. Yeah.
Ugh.
But I really think we're going to do some damage. We're going to go to Tennessee, beat Kentucky, and go to the SEC tournament and win the thing. Because Alabama can't keep the law of average. It's got to catch up with them sooner or later. When the Nate Oates trying to be like Wimp Sanderson in the plaid coat. Come on, Nate. You got. I'm so frustrated with Greg Byrne. He has no cojones. Didn't make a statement till Wednesday or Thursday on the situation. Where's he been hiding? Can y'all answer that?
Let me ask a question here, though. Just amongst us boys here talking. Are we so sure that if Arkansas was in this situation, or many other teams where you were number 2 in the country, you were on the verge of what you thought was going to be a national championship, that we would be at the top of the moral peak on all of this?
Well, you go by what's happened before.
Are we certain of it?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
All we can do is go by what's happened before. I mean, he's kicked guys off the team for far less than this. I mean, kicked them off. I am completely confident that if this happened here, it would be handled administratively much better than it's been handled at Alabama. I am certain of that.
And I think you look at the football team as well, with Sam Pittman suspending Miles Slusher, and I guess that would have been Anthony Brown, and that was.
Well, here's the thing, and we can sit here and talk about should they have suspended him, all this stuff. the issue is that I think America, as they look at this, they're not looking at the basketball. They're looking at the big picture on this. And, you know, the way they've handled it, I can tell you from being there, I mean from actually being there, that they're oblivious to it right now. They're living in their bubble. And I know a lot of people that work at Alabama. They're good people. But they're in their bubble right now. And they are oblivious to the outside world. They don't care. They're going to let them say whatever they want. They've made up their mind that this is what they're going to do. And come hell or high water, they're going to stick with the course. And, you know, going into the game, people were saying, I'm curious to see what the Alabama reaction is going to be. I wasn't curious because I knew what it was going to be. It was exactly like what I thought it was going to be because you get in your bubble, and that's the world that you live in, and the outside world doesn't matter. It was business as usual for those people at Alabama on Saturday. It was business as usual. I thought about it all day. I thought about it all day. I thought about it during the game. I thought about it every time those people went crazy going into a timeout. I thought about it all day long. I'll admit that. And I hope it didn't affect our broadcast, but it might have because I did think about it. But they didn't. They didn't. I mean, it's just not part of their thought process right now. It's incredible. It's just incredible. But they're oblivious to the whole thing.
To your question, is there anything that would lead you to believe that Arkansas would handle it the same? Is there anything?
No, I just think it's, you know, everybody, and I think rightfully so, is piling on Bama and the way they've handled this. But at the same time, I think you have to stop and if you're in a position, if you're Hunter Yurachek, if you're Eric Musselman or a head coach, and it doesn't just have to be Arkansas. I've always been a big believer. You don't have to make the mistake to learn from it. Somebody else can make the mistakes. You can observe what happened, and you can say, well, I'm not doing that. I just think this is a learning moment for people in positions like Eric Musselman and Hunter Yurachek, and you hope, I mean, this is the worst scenario you could ever possibly be in as a coach or an administrator, that multiple athletes within your program are linked or tied to someone's loss of life, particularly in the nature of this happening. I mean, I can't think of a worse scenario.
I'm sure they are all making mental notes in all of this.
I think we all come from the perspective, not just at Arkansas, but every other school in the country, that they'd be above that. And I just don't think it's quite the case that every school would handle it better than Alabama. We'd like to think we would, but I'm not certain that's a fact.
I'm not one of these people that subscribes to whataboutism. I'm not one of these people that says, well, what if it happened here? Well, it didn't happen here. It didn't happen here. It happened there. And it's their responsibility to handle it. Yes. Does everybody else take notes? I'm sure they do. But, you know, it didn't happen here. That's the bottom line.
Quickly want to remind everyone we're going to be on the road Friday at Big Creek Trading Company in Harrison, just south of town there near the Harps at the junction of Highway 62, 65, and 412. All three of us will be there. Look forward to seeing you this Friday at Big Creek Trading Company.
Morning Rush Daily Question when we return. We'll get into what Nate Oates had to say about Brandon Miller coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland,
America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I think you've got it. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Just anybody for service, and surely not for repairs these days. Way too technical. That's why my truck goes to Jody's for everything. Stuff I thought I'd have to take back to where I bought it, they do it. And I really think they save me money with their oil change specials. But the bottom line, I trust Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
This team has played some really tough opponents on the road. You got another one tomorrow night in Knoxville. I think Arkansas's got a great chance to beat the Volunteers tomorrow night. We'll hear what Bruce Stanton has to say about that coming up tomorrow. Guys, what is this team missing at the end of close road losses? What are they missing? They got 5 of them where they've had 8-point leads.
Well, it'd be easy to point to free throws. because that's been a common denominator. But Eric Musselman talks about this. They're scoring runs in every game, 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4. You got to win that battle. So if there's 3, you got to win 2-1. Now that Arkansas in the middle portion of that second half lost the battle of scoring runs. And I think when you examine the road losses, even to the better teams, Chuck, there's been too many instances where the home team, when Arkansas is the road warrior, got that extra scoring run, and that I thought proved to be the difference with the way Arkansas had to climb out of that hole in the second half.
Well, each game's different, and I think if you want to talk about a common denominator, and I think it's probably the common denominator in modern college basketball, whether it's home or road, is you don't stop the ball. I mean, you go back to the first conference game when they played LSU down there. It was a low-scoring game. I forget the guy's name, Hannibal maybe. He just got downhill time after time after time. And, in modern college basketball, if you get beat, most of the time you've been beaten to the rim. And if you want to say one thing, I don't know that that's always because they play on the road, but, sometimes defensive breakdowns are a result of, playing in a hostile environment too. We tend to focus on breakdowns with the ball, but, sometimes you break down defensively. You don't communicate as well. I thought some of that happened on Saturday, and, if you want to say one thing, that would probably be it for me.
You mentioned the runs aspect. There has been points this season where Arkansas has given up a considerable amount. Not that they haven't got runs during the course of some of these road games, but I keep coming back to free throws, man. That's the easy, that's the cop-out. But when you're top 40 last year and you're 264th this year, that is a glaring issue that has to get fixed. And I don't know if it will. And if you lose a close game in the tournament, whether it's in Nashville or the NCAA tournament, you missed 10 free throws, it's probably the reason why you lost.
Well, they are what they are in that area. You say you got to get better. What are you going to do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they can fix it at this
point. They are what they are in terms of a free throw shooting team. And that was an issue Saturday. When you don't make free throws in the second half, that's an issue. And they missed some critical ones. There's no doubt about it. And but I don't know that, you continue to work as a player. You continue to work on it every day, which they do. But I think that, the idea that you're going to take a guy that's been shooting 60% and suddenly he's going to shoot 80%, sometimes that happens. Sometimes. But didn't happen Saturday, that's for sure.
You got 6-7 games left that, if things go well, 2 this week, maybe a couple in the tournament, maybe a couple 3 beyond that if things go well. So, you're not going to redefine who you are at this point.
You mentioned the second half, so you missed 1 free throw in the first half, and you missed 8 in the second half. So mathematics, do it real quick. 29 minus 9, that's 20. So you took 20 free throws in the second half. You went 12 of 20. Is my math right on that?
Second half,
second half?
Yeah.
12 of 20 in the second half free throws.
Well, you're right. Everybody's gone over that since Saturday. You're right. There's no doubt.
Yeah. The number that stands out to me, Chuck, that you didn't exploit or take care of enough is the fact that Alabama goes 3 of 22 behind the three-point line themselves. They took it to the rim, but they like to make the threes. They're a high-scoring team. They only made 3 in the ball game. If you'd have told me that Alabama was only going to have 3 3-point baskets, man, I'd have thought Arkansas was going to win the game.
Man, they made a big one at the end, though.
Oh, they did.
That corner 3 was huge. Well, I think they finally figured out in the second half, why aren't we shooting threes? We're getting to the rim and kicking it out and missing threes. So let's just keep on going. And that's what they did. It's obvious at halftime Alabama talked about that. It's obvious they talked about that. Their players talked about it after the game. They made a commitment in the second half to go into the rim. And they did, and Arkansas didn't stop them enough. They scored 86 points.
Yeah. All right, that's your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They're Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopascal.com.
All right, we'll talk about the baseball series in Fayetteville coming up, but I think more fans want to talk about what's going on with Tennessee and Tony Vitello. He gets suspended over the weekend for NCAA inquiry, allegedly tampering with star transfer Maui Ahuna. Is that how you said, the Kansas kid? What do you guys think about that news that broke, I think, late on Friday?
Well, I got to be honest. I was, I was in Alabama, so I didn't follow it maybe as closely as some. I don't know anything about it, to be honest, other than, there have been some allegations and they suspended him for the weekend. But beyond that, I don't know anything about it.
He's still not playing at this point in time. His eligibility is still in question. But I guess the thing I would ask on this, how much more is tampering happening with the transfer portal than it was prior to? I mean, is it gone up 100%, or is it? Y'all think it's over the top now than where it was previously?
I think it's prevalent. I'm not naive in that respect. I think it is prevalent, but how much? I mean, I don't know.
Well, before you didn't have a reason to be reaching out to someone that was on scholarship at another university.
Yeah.
Now the portal gives you a reason to. So, I mean, what is the fine line between an inquiry and tampering? I mean, there's kids on teams that played with kids on other teams. They text them. There's friendships, relationships. Does that initiate a phone call to the school or to that coaching staff? Where is the fine line where tampering begins? That's what I don't really understand.
Well, if a member of the staff initiates the conversation, that's tampering. At least that would be my definition of it. What exactly the rules say. I mean, this is one of those things where, I'm going to be honest. I'm not equipped to talk about this intelligently because I don't know exactly what's going on, and we don't know beyond the fact that, there are some allegations evidently of some impropriety, and they've decided to, sit their coach for a little bit. And I'm sure the NCAA's involved. Obviously they are. But, we're just going to have to see how this unfolds and as more stuff comes out. But, to answer your question, I think it goes on. To what extent, I don't know. But when this, that's one of the things about the portal. I mean, gosh, you got winks in the handshake line. So, I mean, it's, that stuff goes on, yeah.
Well, the reason I wanted to bring this up is to parallel what Danny White is doing comparatively to what Greg Byrne is doing with. Is there any comparisons whatsoever? No. This is an apple-oranges thing. Why?
Apples and oranges.
Apples and bumper cars. I mean, no one lost their life in regards to Tennessee's situation. You have a rules violation. We have a loss of life in the Alabama. To me, they're not even in the same breath or conversation.
So doesn't it make it that much worse that Tennessee and Danny White decided, you know what, he's under inquiry. He hadn't been, quote-unquote, charged with anything by the NCAA. It's a potential rules breaking.
It's an administrative issue.
Correct. The fact that they're suspending him for this and there's still not anything that seems to be happening with Brandon Miller. Seems to be two different styles of how this is going out leadership-wise. It's Knoxville and Tuscaloosa.
Apples and oranges. I don't think there's any comparison because the issues are incomparable.
And I don't know. We don't know enough about this as far as what information Tennessee has, how deep this needs to be looked into. But we are extremely early in a very long baseball season, and the biggest games of consequence are still to come. If I'm in Danny White's shoes, or if I was in Hunter Yurichek's shoes, and there was a similar inquiry, let's take our medicine now before we get to the games in 30 days or so when SEC play begins, maybe less than that now, that the games really matter. It's starting in the middle of March. I don't want to kick the can down the road, and then I'm forced to not have my coach I'm paying more to than I've paid any other baseball coach in history at our school. I need him there for those 10 SEC series. So let's deal with this head on. That seems to be, from the outside looking in, maybe the approach Tennessee is taking now.
Did you guys read Pat Forty's column on Alabama, the whole Brandon Miller situation?
I pre-topped it on Twitter. I did see his tweet on it.
I read it.
Here's the headline. After Alabama's latest men's basketball embarrassment Saturday, the school needs to quit pretending it cares about murder victim Jamia Joan, I don't know how to say her middle name, Harris, or her family. Stop talking. No one believes you. And a lot of that was centered around the Brandon Miller pat-down, his pregame routine. Here's what Nate Oates said after the game in his involvement there.
Before I get started on the game, it was brought to my attention after the game about our pregame introductions. I think that's something that's been going on all year. I don't watch our introductions. I'm not involved with them. I'm drawing up plays during that time. Regardless, it's not appropriate. It's been addressed, and I can assure you it definitely will not happen again the remainder of this year.
Chuck, I didn't think about this until you said in hour one. The murder has been at least 5 games since it's happened. I was just kind of thinking, well, it just got brought up this week. Why is he doing it on Saturday at home? But it's been 5 games since this occurred.
Well, it's the first time anybody's taken a picture of it. If the television station in Birmingham hadn't tweeted it out, we wouldn't be talking about it now. Nobody would have been talking about it. I mean, it's gone on for 5 games. So this idea that, I don't know what goes on or it's inappropriate, it won't happen again. I mean, she was killed in, it wasn't even the 15th of January, or right around the 15th of January. So, it's been a long time now, and they've done it every game. So this idea that, we've done it every game and he didn't realize, I mean, hey, there's a lot of people that work at that school. A lot of them in that athletic administration. Lord, you got so many people working in athletic administration now, it's hard to even know what everybody does. And you're going to tell me somebody didn't notice that? I mean, come on. That just, everything that they've said, it just, it's like, give me a break.
Yeah, someone should have said, for the last 4 games, I've noticed that Brandon Miller's been getting this pat-down fake deal, at the end of his introduction. This probably wouldn't be a good day to do that. Someone, like you said, and the hundreds of people that work there should have raised their hand and had the courage to say something.
Well, I think people have to understand how the hierarchy works within an athletic program and around a team. I mean, the head coach is God. The head coach is God. And the athletic director is going to back the head coach. I mean, that's how it's going to work. And, that's the way the game's played now, for better or worse. So, I mean, I'm sure that people did notice. I'm certain people noticed over the course of those 5 games. But, nobody said anything.
Well, maybe.
Because I'm just telling you, within the hierarchy of that, particularly when things are going well, you don't want to be the guy that rocks the boat. And I'll go back to what I said in the last hour. They're living in their bubble. They're in their bubble right now. They are oblivious to all of this. They don't care. Any explanation that they give is going to ring hollow. They are all in. And they are, when you get in that bubble, I mean, you're without conscience at that point. And that's where they are. And I think it's shameful. But, it played out in Alabama exactly as I thought it would Saturday. I knew we'd get the biggest cheer, and I knew the people there would act like it was just a regular basketball Saturday. I knew that would happen, and that's exactly what happened.
I mean, you would just think with the 47 assistant coaches and the 28 student managers and all those people. I mean, it's become like a football sideline these days on a basketball sideline. It is amazing the way the staffs and the people that support those staffs have grown, that somebody would have noticed. But like you said, the hierarchy, you don't want to get your head knocked off.
Oh, they noticed.
Yeah, well.
They noticed. Somebody noticed.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Well, there was a reason that camera was there waiting. Yeah.
Nothing was said. That would be the thing that I would say. Hey, it's going to be a crazy weather week, guys. I know that.
Already
I was
is.
looking at the forecast. Already is. That brings me to my friends at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. This really is the time of year when you want to make sure everything's running right. We talked about this at the beginning of winter, how, you got to get ready. You got to make sure everything's in order. Well, spring's the same way. And, the plant protection program at Pascal really is the answer. I mean, it really is. Because you get seasonal tune-ups, you get maintenance, you get priority when something does go wrong. And I'm telling you that if you want to give yourself peace of mind, if you want to make certain that everything is going to go the way you want it to go, and you don't have to think about it, the Pascal Plant Protection Program really will give you that peace of mind. Now, this is an Arkansas-owned company, Arkansas-operated. Charlie Boyce, former Razorback baseball player, one of our greats, is the proprietor of Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. They got a staff of, first off, I mean, these are bright people. I mean, they really are. And I think that's going to be your impression when you deal with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. They're a 50-year-old company. They've been around forever in Northwest Arkansas. They're expanding. They're expanding all over Arkansas. And if you're a new customer in a different spot, you're going to find out what people in Northwest Arkansas have known for a long, long time, that these are professional people, that this is professional service, and you can log on to gopascal.com.
Sterling is in Center Ridge this morning. Sterling, what's going on?
Before I talk about the Razorback basketball team, which I was very encouraged by a lot of things they did Saturday, my last thing I'm going to say about the Brandon Miller situation is this, that right now Alabama's at a point, in my opinion, of no return. Anything they do now is going to ring, like Chuck said, it's going to ring hollow. It's going to feel like it's under pressure. It's going to look, it's trying to be appeasing to the outcry, to the people yelling and screaming out there, and it's going to seem very, very hollow just doing it to shut people up to move on. And if that's your reason for doing it and you couldn't see it back on January 15th when they got the information, then to me, this I mean, you might as well just move on now. And I would have no more comments on the situation in this play because you done did it already. You know, it'd been nice if when they found out all the information, they would come out and said that he's not a suspect. He didn't break any laws. He's just guilty of terrible judgment, and we're gonna do this, and this, and move for there. But they didn't do it that way. They did the way they done it, and I think they're at a point of no return. And like Chuck said, they're all in. They might as well ride out and take whatever comes with it. As for our basketball team, I was very impressed with the game Saturday. Just one of the better teams in the country. Maybe the best player in the country. And despite having a 5+ minute drought, they had a shot to tie it up on the road to send it to overtime. This is a dangerous, dangerous basketball team, folks. And I'm starting to wonder now, is Muss, do he get and I'm all tongue-in-cheek here, let me put that out there first and foremost, but does Muss get the team, get the state all in an uproar about going to the Final Four, we fill out the season tickets, and then we have a lull so you can drop your expectations, and then you have a sprint to the finish, and you're on top of the world again. That's just seemed to be the way this team, and of course I'm joking about, raising expectations, because of course nobody's struggling on purpose by any means, but it's just funny how this team get on this push toward the end. I think this team's going to be a tough. I don't want to see this team. If I'm anybody else, I don't want to see this team with Council, Black, and Smith. These guys are all going to get drafted in the NBA. And then you got Walsh. Whoever he comes out, he probably get drafted. But he's going to be drafted at some point in time. You got 4 NBA guys that you got to deal with in a one-shot road craps game. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it. Those cats can go. And with Smith, you see him starting to get it going. And you look at his shot attempts. And, a lot of people go with percentages and uses, and some might say shoot too much, some might say this or that, whatever they want to say. But you know how good of a basketball player you have to be to get that many shots off. I mean, quality, good looks. People talk about Kobe and Jordan. That's how good you have to be to even get those type of attempts. And that's what we have here. This team, Council, Smith, and Black, and, Walsh, and play defense, and you got a defensive player like Davis, this team's going to be rough. I'm telling you, this team's a dangerous, dangerous team.
Sterling, thank you. Couple of points on that. I mean, you talked about the number of shots. I mean, Smith, I found myself during that ball game thinking, man, they got to get the ball to Nick more. Nick's got to shoot more. But then you look at the line at the end of the game, he shot 23 times. That's a lot of shots, So it is difficult to get that many shots up. All these guys need to play well together. If you're going to make a run, it's not just enough to have 4 guys that are going to be drafted. It's not just enough to have a bunch of guys that are going to play pro. They've got to play as a team. You can't have a game where one guy isn't there, so to speak. One guy plays lousy. You can't have a game. Because, look, here's the deal. If you got one guy playing lousy defense, the other side's going to pick on him all day, just like we do. Just like we do. And they did it Saturday. You go back and watch that tape. They did it Saturday. Alabama did. And, that's what good teams do. So you got to have all these guys playing well, playing together at the same time. It's not just about talent. That gives you a chance, but it's not just about that. And what I would hope is that, and this has to happen if you're going to make a run, all these guys have to be playing well. You can't have one or two guys play lousy games, because if they do, that's the game you're going to lose.
No, I mean, and I think the way they've come along, I think they're still settling in with Nick Smith. I mean, you're right. I think it comes down to he didn't get that final shot. People don't think he took enough shots because he didn't take the last shot. But 23 is probably enough. But we don't focus enough on defense. And you said something a few minutes ago that we tend to focus on the runs you make on the road offensively, but oftentimes you forget about the defensive lapses that sometimes doom you when it comes to a road loss like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think offense had anything to do with that loss on Saturday. I mean, you score 83 points at Alabama, second-ranked team in the country, one of the best defenses in America. You score 83 points, you've had a good day on that end of the floor. Yeah. And but, you're not going to give up 58 points in the second half and win. It's just not going to happen.
It's Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. You get a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. They have a mobile service shuttle that will come to you to keep you camping, and you'll find the best brands at the best prices right there in Northwest Arkansas at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. All right, we'll get your Hog update on the way. A big weekend with a lot of stuff going on campus. We'll take a look at all of that in just a moment. First, I want to tell you about our friends at Gaston's White River Resort. Springtime is just around the corner. Start planning that spring break getaway. Maybe that special birthday or anniversary weekend. Spring fishing is always a great time to, as the flowers and the trees and everything start to come into bloom, it's a great time to be on the White River. So if you've got something coming up and you'd like to get away in the next 30 or 60 days, now is the time. In March, they still have spring specials. They got a day or two left of the winter specials at Gaston's. Then we move into spring specials in the month of March as well. So book that holiday weekend, book that favorite weekend for this summer at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Is your heating system leaving you out in the cold? Funny smell? Grinding noises? Or just plain not keeping you comfortable? If it's time for a new heating and air system, you deserve the best. Get a complete Pascal system replacement starting at only $99 a month. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at gopascal.com. Professional people, professional service, Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com to set your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about. A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Tommy referenced it earlier. The Arkansas men and women's track team took home the SEC Indoor Championships this weekend. You've had a lot of success with your track and field program. 9th straight for the women and 4th straight for the men. Guys, that's just almost like we're just so used to that level of expectation for that track and field programs.
Yeah, you just think about how hard that is. 9 in a row. 4 in a row. I mean, if it was any other sport, I mean, we'd be talking about the dynasty of dynasties. But it's amazing what they've done.
Yeah. Lance Harder, 33 seasons, I believe it is, set to retire with the women's track program. I mean, just the incredible run he has had. And, even when you had the transition on the men's side, you had a few things there, but they've still found their way. Maybe not to the level McDonald had it at its peak, but nationally and certainly within the conference, they have been as competitive as any program out there. And I don't think there'll be any drop-off even with the transition the women's program is getting ready to go underneath.
Here's what makes the track and field job at Arkansas harder than any other track job in America. You have to win in all three here. You look at most of your track programs out there, they're not dominant in indoor, outdoor, and cross-country. There's lots of schools out there that are good at cross-country, depending upon geography. Your climate may be more conducive to that where you are. You're not as good in the sprints. You're not as good in the field events. Or maybe you're good in the field events and not as good in the sprints. At Arkansas, the expectation is you are going to compete for the national championship in indoor, outdoor, and cross-country. I don't think there's another program in America where that is the expectation, that you compete for it all in all three phases of track and field. Let me tell you something. Buck is a hell of a coach. And how in the world you operate after the shadow of John McDonnell, I do not know. And with all due respect to John McDonnell, and he would tell you this if he was still alive, that not everybody back then competed for championships the way Arkansas did. John McDonnell turned an individual sport and made it a team concept. And, a lot of people adopted his model. And now everybody competes for championships now. They're not just trying to get a guy into the Olympics. They're competing for a championship. And I think what these guys do now in the climate, again, very respectfully, is impressive as what happened before because of what they have to compete against now.
I've been to the outdoor.
I've been to an indoor meet. I've not been to an outdoor meet.
I've been to all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie and say that I'm a regular, I'm a regular observer. I'm not, but I've been to all three.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you, there may not be 80,000 people there, but there is no less a will to win when those people are out there than there is in a football game or a basketball game with the whole world watching. These are world-class athletes in every respect.
When they run the sprints, and I've been to not one at Fayetteville, but I've been to track meets at different levels and the indoor one. And when they get in the home stretch of a 200 meter or even a 400, whatever, but on one of the sprints, that's as exciting as really anything you're going to watch in sport is what happens to that 8 or 10 closing seconds or less, down the front stretch of a race. That is competition at its purest right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult spectator sport because when you go to a meet, and anyone who's been to a meet knows this, there's a lot of things going on.
Simultaneously.
It's not as obvious.
Yeah.
It's not as obvious as it is when you watch a football or a basketball game, and you go to a cross-country meet, you're just waiting on them to run by. So, I mean, it's not conducive to being a spectator sport. But, man, their body of work, I don't know how it could be more impressive.
Arkansas baseball picks 2 out of 3 this weekend. They lose to Eastern Illinois on Sunday, but they get the other 2 in that game. Chuck, how about DVH get to 800 career wins at Arkansas this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's and he's got a lot more in the tank, too. I mean, he's not done by a long shot. They had a good weekend. I mean, I know they lost yesterday. They got some things to figure out in the bullpen, evidently. But, they're 5-2 right now, and it looks like they've got another good team.
Courtney Deifel's program, they drop 1 on Friday in that doubleheader, but they they win the next 4, so they won 5 of 6 this weekend. Mike Neighbors' group got a win last night, or I guess yesterday, 78-65 over Texas A&M. think that gets them to 20 wins, if I remember that right. We know we've been talking about the basketball team this morning, 86-83 loss to Alabama. Here's Nick Smith Jr. on what happened in the second half.
It's not confidence, it's just the ability to be not letting the team take over. We had the first half. Second half, if it was 0-0, we would have lost by 20.
So he brings up the difference in that second half. I mean, Chuck, you've said it. You score 83 on Alabama in their arena, you got a good chance to win. It just, unfortunately, some things didn't go your way, and certain guys on Crimson Tide just took over in that second half.
Well, you gave up 28 points in the first half and 58 points in the second half. I mean, that pretty much tells you right there.
Sums it up. All right, last thing. Isaiah Joe has been on fire. He gets, I think, his first starts or one of his first starts for the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday. Pours in 28 points, including 6 threes, has 24 yesterday, including an and 1 3.
After this game has dwindled down in the third quarter, Isaiah Joe, the three-point shot plus he was fouled as it goes in.
He's becoming Arkansas's most consistent player right now in the NBA. I never thought I'd say that, but I mean, you think about a 3-star kid coming out of Fort Smith Northside, had a good career at Arkansas, but from a points per game standpoint, he's leading all Razorbacks in the NBA right now.
Well, he's in a situation where they're going youth, and some of these other guys aren't. And so he does have an advantage there. Not to take anything away from what he and Jalen are doing, they are very, very fortunate. The best thing that happened to Isaiah Joe is, he got out of Philly. Not that it's not a great organization. Not that I'm saying anything about them. It's just there wasn't a spot for him to play, and he's going to Oklahoma City. They are not a playoff team, although they're kind of right there at the cusp, but they have committed to youth, and he benefits from that. Jalen benefits from that. Philadelphia is trying to win the NBA championship. Like, for example, Moses Moody. Moses is in a great organization, but he's not in a place where he's going to get an abundance of playing time. They're trying to win a world championship. That's their expectation. Isaiah and Jalen, fortunately for them, I think, are in a situation where they're not trying to win a world championship at Oklahoma City. So these guys are getting to play a lot, and they're taking advantage.
That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It's brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, third hour on the way. More of your calls and texts. We'll get back to the Arkansas-Alabama game from Saturday, and the Hogs take on Tennessee tomorrow night. We'll preview that a bit as well. We're brought to you by The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building a fence or gate or anything on the perimeter of your home or business, whether it's a commercial fence or a residential chain link or wood privacy or vinyl fencing. They do everything, plus custom wrought iron installations as well. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Also want to ask Chuck about the Cardinal Way in Hour 3.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades: methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Hog fans, this is Matt.
And this is Robert.
And we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
Matt, this is an awesome time of the year.
Dad, I agree. Winter's almost over, and it's beginning to feel like spring.
Plus, it's Razorback basketball and baseball time.
And the Stadium Shop has everything you need, whether it's a shirt for the game, decorations for the wall, or furniture for the man cave.
Or my favorite thing.
Let me guess, stuff for the grill?
Yep, a new line of grilling tools with baseball bat handles just hit the door. I'm talking spatulas, tongs, the entire works.
Yeah, Dad, we know you like the grill, but Mom's the real grill master.
Now, hold on just a minute.
Hang on, that's your dad bad side showing
What?
again.
Where?
Oh, never mind.
Folks, come by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and check out all the new Razorback stuff for tournament time and baseball season.
Dad, you might want to tell them where we are first.
Oh, yeah. We're at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can call us at 479-STADIUM. That's 479-782-3486. And Matt, tell them about that interfacegram, that stuff.
What he means to say is our website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
We still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown bar district.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pick up, home. Drop off downtown bar district.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Huh. Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
I may not know much about my SUV and what makes it go, but I do believe in history. And if you can be local and in business since 1984 and have the reputation for good, honest service Jody's has, that's all I need, with pickup and delivery and free shuttle service and coupons to save me money. Jody's. My SUV goes to Jody's for everything.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we can do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbor since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, your home for inflation elimination. We're on a mission to make used cars affordable for everyone. Our live market value pricing ensures you always get a great deal, and Rath Road Ready Reconditioning makes sure you always get a great vehicle. This month, we're making it even easier with up to $3,300 extra for your trade and prices up to $4,700 below retail. We know a lot of people have been waiting for just the right time to buy, and this is it. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. And for a real hedge against rising prices, ask about our exclusive Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They could save you another 20%. If you're ready to save some real money on a quality used vehicle and experience a better way to drive, call, click, or come by today. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination, just north of Phoenix on Towson or online at rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny, quite breezy at times. Our high this afternoon, upper 60s to near 70, with winds up to near 35 miles per hour early but diminishing throughout the afternoon. Mainly clear overnight lows, low to mid 40s tonight, and then tomorrow, sunshine or high into the low 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Metters Lumber True Value, with locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville. There's always a Metters Lumber near you.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
One more for Griffin. It is up. It's good. Bama by 3. Hogs can tie it with a three-pointer. Pressure in the backcourt. Devo drops it into Council. Got to go. Ricky at the midcourt stripe. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Tries a three at the horn. It is no good. And Alabama's won this ball game. Alabama's won this ball game by a final of 86-83.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
It's hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a Hot Take Monday. Tommy Kraft, Chuck Barrett, Ty Richardson. Still a lot to discuss here this morning. I want to talk about the SEC standings in basketball right now. After Arkansas's loss on Saturday, 8-8, 2 games remaining, 1 game in Knoxville tomorrow night, and Lexington on Saturday, against the Wildcats at home in Fayetteville on Saturday. Address both those coming up.
Hot Take Monday always brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Lee J, Chris, and their crew are getting ready for a great spring. You know, they sell RVs and they sell great ways to enjoy the outdoors, but they really sell memories with your family, whether it's camping in one of the great state parks or getting on the road and maybe heading south and getting down on one of the beaches in Florida. They can send you so many places to do it in style and stay right at the attraction. That is the main thing with Wheels RV. Plus, they have a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. It's all at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
So Arkansas is sitting solo in the SEC standings right now at 8-8. I guess you could get as low as 10th and as high as 5th. You got 3 teams above you at 9-7 and 2 teams behind you at 7-9. Georgia's at 6-10, but you do have the tiebreaker over them head-to-head right now. Guys, this is a big week for Arkansas and what they can do, not just in the SEC standings, but maybe in their seed line as well with 2 quad 1 opportunities.
Yep.
It's possible.
Need to watch what Missouri, Auburn, and Vanderbilt are doing right ahead of you. Those are 3 teams to keep an eye on, Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody's ultimately looking at seeding right now, and I've looked at it too. I see Arkansas primarily on the 8 or 9 line. I guess conceivably they could get to a 7, and it might drop to 10 or 11. I don't know, but depending upon how it goes, I think that is mathematically possible. I do think they're in, but seed line's going to be affected. I guess theoretically it would be nice not to be an 8 or a 9 because then you don't have to play, the 1 seed in the round of 32. But, if you're a 7 or a 10, I guess you're going to have to play the 2 seed. So, either way, you're going to play a really good team. It's going to be an upset if you win. I'll put it that way.
Do you guys watch any other SEC games on Saturday? Chuck, I know your schedule's a little different than Tommy and myself. So I watched the Mississippi State game. They're, as you said last week, playing for their tournament lives. They got a big win against Texas A&M at home. Kentucky whacked Auburn by nearly 30 or more than 30 points. Do you guys get a chance to watch any other SEC action?
Well, I put myself through a portion of the LSU Ole Miss game late Saturday night. I have no logical explanation for why I did that. I mean, the remote was at my hand, and I still watched a little bit of it. But I'm not surprised. Kentucky's really playing well right now. Kentucky's better than they were when we played up there. And I'm not so sure that this game Saturday won't be just as tough, if not tougher, as the ball game was up in Lexington. They're hitting their stride. I think the reports of Kentucky's demise were greatly exaggerated, and that's going to be a very difficult ball game Saturday. And Kentucky, we were talking about the tournament and the crowd and all that stuff earlier. Kentucky people will be there on Wednesday. I mean, they will be. And they are I guess they're what we were back in the day when we went to the Southwest Conference tournament in Dallas. For those who made that trip regularly, they remember what it was like. It's the Kentucky Invitational, particularly when they play it in Nashville. So, If I would still, if somebody put a gun to my head and said who's going to win the SEC tournament, I'm not sure I wouldn't say Kentucky.
What's happened with Auburn? They only have won 3 of their 8 games in the month of February. That includes Georgia, Missouri, and and beating Ole Miss this past week. Auburn was as good as any team, as hot as any team early in the conference stretch, and Chuck, they've really come unraveled in the month of February.
I've really not paid a lot of attention to them, honestly, since we played. I've watched their numbers, in terms of where they were in the standings. I know they had a really bad game, evidently, on Saturday. I think guard play, probably would be the thing that I would point to, and having again not paid real close attention, I'm not going to pretend that I have. The Auburn team that I saw early in the year was really talented. But I suspect turnovers and guard play and things like that's probably what's plagued them more than anything.
You've got Wendell Green, who's better than he was last year, and then some other guys. I mean, I'm forgetting the Sharp kid or whatever, and then you've also got Katie Johnson, who is a walking turnover at times. They haven't had the guard play that Bruce Pearl has had over the years, the past 2 years. It hurt him last year with best front court in the country, and I don't think it's helping him this year either.
Yeah, I don't know that they shoot as well as some of the teams that he's had the last couple of years, but generally, and again, I could be completely off base because I've not paid close attention to him, but generally, when you have teams that lose like that, turnovers are a big part of it.
And you mentioned Kentucky; they're the hottest team, at least from a streak standpoint. They've won their last 4 in this league. That's more than any other team. You hope to catch Kentucky at the right time, and maybe you haven't done that with the scheduling.
But that's what you want. I mean, you wanted them to. We said it a couple weeks ago. You want Kentucky to start winning before that game. That makes that win, if you get it on Saturday, look better. I mean, we advocated for it. Now we're going to get it.
I have no problem with Kentucky playing well. I mean, I knew when people were putting dirt on the grave, it was way too early. They're Kentucky, and they'll be good at the end.
They play Vanderbilt on Wednesday, so.
And that's in Lexington because they beat them already at Nashville. Yeah, they who did Vandy beat? Vandy beat, I can't remember who they played. They won over the weekend, but that's not going to be an easy game. Vanderbilt's one of the surprise teams of the league this year. They've got
They beat Florida.
Yeah.
They play Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken, in their other game this week.
Do they? They're 9-7 right now. Again, State's right behind you at 7-9. I mean, Chris Jans and company, they're still trying to get a tournament spot, so they really need to win this week, and whoever they play Saturday need to get that one as well.
Yeah, that game's in Starkville. That's Tuesday night. That's the 8 o'clock game.
Yeah, then they go on the road Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So
South Carolina at Starkville on Tuesday.
Yeah. So they should, I don't know that Mississippi State will go 2-0. I would imagine they'd go at least 1-1.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to get in. One of the brackets that I saw had them in as an 11 seed. I could see that. I could see them going to Dayton and playing on Tuesday night. But, they're fighting for their lives. I was not surprised they beat A&M. I mean, you put a pretty good team with their back to the wall playing at home on Saturday afternoon. Most of the time that team's going to win.
877-377-6963. Ryan is in Hot Springs this morning. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, buddy. Hey, I can answer Chuck's question why he watched that game.
Why is
He's
that?
A glutton. You're a glutton.
I guess that's right. I am a glutton. Joe Klein was doing the game, if I'm not mistaken. I like Joe.
That makes a difference there, though. That does make a huge difference. It's hard not to like old Joe Klein.
Oh, he's the
best.
But,
the reason why I called is because, I'm actually pretty excited about this team after the way we played. I didn't expect us to win, but to be at the end of the game with a shot to push overtime, that's a step in the right direction. And I feel like we got a much better chance. I'm not predicting it, but I like our chances going into this week or before the Alabama game to have a better shot at beating Tennessee than we do Alabama. I'm not saying that they're bad or anything. They just hadn't played as consistent as Alabama has, and you catch them on the right night, you can beat Tennessee. But you were talking about how much better Kentucky's gotten, but you know what? So have we. So I feel like that's kind of we're kind of on the same footing there. So I'm pretty excited about Saturday's game, and I think if we can get a win against Kentucky Saturday, that'll springboard us into the SEC tournament, and I like our chances to make a deep run, if maybe not win it. Not predicting that, but I'd love to see it though. So that's my thoughts. Hope y'all have a great day, and go Hogs.
You know, it's interesting you say that because I think he really echoes what a lot of people feel. I feel that way. He said, I like our chances twice during that call. I've heard that phrase from Razorback fans more over the last couple of weeks than I've heard it at any point this season. And I think that's where our team is. I think that's where our fan base is right now. I don't know how far they're going to go. I don't know that they're going to win a game this week. I have no idea. But I know that there's not anybody out there right now, anybody, that you look at and say, I don't want to play them. I mean, guys, Alabama's number 2 in the country playing on their home floor on a Saturday afternoon. You had a shot to send it into overtime. Yeah, you can point to reasons why you didn't win. But the point of the matter is, I mean, you're right there. And so I think everyone has the feeling that I like our chances. So, you know, and look, unfortunately, you got Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky back-to-back at the end. And you're going to play a team very likely in the first round at Nashville that's fighting for their lives too. So, you know, it's a photo finish or a race to the finish, whatever phrase you want to use. It's certainly that.
Other than Alabama, and if they have a 2-0 week, I'm not sure what they're playing for in Nashville. Everybody else seems to be playing for something, a seed, maybe to get into the tournament. There is probably 5 or 6 teams that may decide their fate or at least a seed line in the tournament in Nashville. It's going to be, I think, a very fun tournament to watch.
It's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to be interested to see how Alabama plays. You always wonder about that with a number 1 seed, and they have been the best team in the league, and they are the best team in the league. But the best team in the league during the regular season doesn't always win the tournament, and a lot of it does have to do with, you know, what you're playing for that day. Where are you? Alabama's going to be a number 1 seed regardless. You know, the 8-9 winner could upset Alabama on Friday. They're still going to be a number 1 seed. So they may be the number 1 overall seed, but they might still be. And, you know, so everybody's got a different agenda when they get there. You know, look, Alabama may be so good this year that they run the table in or not run the table, but win the regular season decisively and then run the table in the tournament. They may be that good. But most of the time, if someone going into the tournament would say, you're going to take the number 1 seed, you're going to take the field. Most of the time, if you take the field, you're going to win. You're going to win more times than you lose. But Alabama may be so good this year that they just run through the whole thing. They are very good. And somebody's going to have to play their best game of the year to beat them.
You mentioned what's to play for, Tommy. Texas A&M, at least mathematically, still has a chance to hold a share of the conference title. Now, Bama would have to lose twice this week, and then A&M would have to beat them. So they do close out in College Station against the Crimson Tide, but it just got a lot tougher with them losing on Saturday to Mississippi State.
Yeah, it's a tough loss for them, but it's not a bad loss. You know, you can't say out of, you know, one side of your mouth, man, Mississippi State's making a run. They got a chance to get in. And then on the other side of your mouth say, well, it's a bad loss for A&M. Now, look, A&M is paying the price for what happened before conference season began. That's what they're paying the price for. But, you know, I'll say it again. If somehow the numbers spit out that Texas A&M doesn't belong, then you need to blow the whole thing up. Because if you're trying to tell me that's not one of the best 68 teams in the country, you know, you've not watched much basketball.
Ryan was talking about Tennessee earlier. The thing about this game tomorrow night is Sakai Ziegler and Vescovi, 2 veteran guards, you're going to have to defend. They got Josiah Jordan-James back, who's knocking down threes on Saturday against the Gamecocks. They're better defensively than Alabama, but they go on droughts like you do at times. You can win this game tomorrow night. Chuck, you just said it. I had a lot of people texting me before that game that thought Arkansas was going to pull it out. Now, I know they covered, and they were close to the tail end, but I've really seen a change in script the last 2 weeks about how Arkansas fans feel about this team right now.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think everybody feels that way, and that's why I say, I mean, I like our chances has been an oft-uttered phrase around our state lately. So, you know, I think you know, that's the feeling that the team has, and I think that's the feeling the rest of us have too. Guys, if you're in the market to sell or buy a home, I want to recommend my friends at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. I talk about them a lot, and, you know, that's because of my experience, and it's because I think you'll have the same experience with them too. these are not people that do this on the side. This is not a side gig. This is what they do every day. They're trained professionals, and they're trained better than anybody else in the business. When you partner with an agent from Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, that's who I'm talking about. When you partner with an agent from Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, you're going to get somebody that's the best trained in the business. And that's going to allow them to understand the market in a way others don't. They'll negotiate on your behalf in a way others can't. And it's going to get you from contract to close, because no matter which side of the table you're sitting on, that's where you want to get to. You want some money to change hands. You want to get in or get out, and that's what they're best at. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith, Branson, Missouri. You're going to see their yellow signs, and you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Chuck, what's the Cardinal way?
Well, you have to be a lifetime Cardinal fan, I think, to fully understand what it means. You have to see it over a period of time. I mean, it goes back to the Gas House gang. I mean, and you fast forward to, I guess, Stan Musial, and probably in my lifetime, Tony La Russa's defined the Cardinal way more than anybody else. Consistent winning. You look at the greats in the organization, the way they've developed them themselves, and they've never been an organization that goes out and, depends entirely upon free agency. They've always, in my mind anyway, won the game in a classy way. The best part about talking about the Cardinal way is I know how much it infuriates Cubs fans. There's nothing Cubs fans hate worse than hearing a Cardinal fan talk about the Cardinal way. Now, as a lifetime Cardinal fan, I'm not sure they've not gotten away from the Cardinal way a little bit over the last 10 years. That's a different subject. But, hey, Wilson Contreras understands it. And if you're there and you're around it, you feel it.
For me, I like this better. This better organization. We all like old school way, which I love it, and that's something that I really like it. I already talked to the manager about it, like how was the culture here, and everything since I got here has been everything just one way, the Cardinal way, and I have to adjust it. So it's not that hard. Do everything right and respect each other. That's it.
Christian's blood boiling just hearing that clip, Chuck.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There's nothing that makes a Cubs fan madder than having a Cardinal fan in a condescendingly way or a condescendingly manner talk about the Cardinal way.
Yeah. And it hurts because I saw Contreras as a lifetime Cub, and then he goes to the Cardinals, and
he knows the winner when he sees one.
Yeah. Was it 13? You said 13?
Kidding me?
I think it's 13 world titles.
I don't have a huge vendetta against Cardinals fans. Everyone in Little Rock's a Cardinals fan. I'm a very bad Royals fan just because I wanted to be different. But I have my best friend, Chuck. His dad's from Los Angeles, diehard Dodger fans, and he cannot stand the St. Louis Cardinals because they beat them in the postseason seemingly every year. At least they used to.
Yeah, they used to. You're right. Dodgers have taken a big step forward, and the Cardinals have taken somewhat of a step back. But, no, those are the two oldest, most traditional franchises in the National League, certainly. And, I mean, if you look at traditional franchises in baseball, those are two of them that they're right up there with the Yankees and maybe one or two others. But that's as storied as it gets in the senior circuit.
You mentioned the Yankees, and I saw this today. On this day in 1963, Mickey Mantle signed a deal for $100,000, and that was big back then. Did you guys see that Manny Machado just signed that new deal for $350 million with the San Diego Padres?
Silly money.
Crazy. 11 world titles, by the way, Christian. And in case you were wondering, we lead the all-time series. In case you were wanting 23 pennants to go along with that. So.
Well, Christian's been a lifetime Cubs fan since 2016.
Yeah.
So I know he feels it in a special way.
Whole life.
Yeah.
What are you, like 19?
27, man. All 27 years.
Right.
I will say, getting to go to Billy Goat's Tavern, and this was prior to them actually winning. That was a cool experience, just going to Chicago and seeing the history and everything involved with that. But, I mean, got a chance to be in Ballpark Village last weekend and then doing to see that. Those are two ballparks. I don't know, it's not the old Busch Stadium, but it's pretty cool to see both those venues.
Hey, I will say this. If you're a Cardinals fan or a Cubs fan, and you have an opportunity to go, there is nothing quite like a Cardinals-Cubs weekend series at Wrigley Field. There's nothing quite like it. And look, I love it when they play in St. Louis too, but you do go to the Billy Goat Tavern when you're there. And I mean, there's a despite what you hear, Chicago is a great city and it's fun to go to. And it's that's a great weekend. I would highly recommend Cards Cubs at Wrigley if you can pull it off.
You've talked about that, Tommy.
No,
Do that.
It's on my bucket list. But I was just looking here that the Chicago Cubs have been in 11 World Series. Now, 10 of the 11 were before the end of World War II, but they have made 11 and won 3. Now, most of them weren't in my great-grandparents' lifetimes, but, they 2 of the 3.
It's not a great percentage.
No.
Sorry, Christian. They're piling on this morning.
Yeah. I'm just
driving the point
just
home.
Facts. I mean, these aren't opinions. These are facts.
I'll take a World Series every 27 years if I can.
You got most of our audience is pumping their fist, and other percentage.
I got
of
a
our
buddy,
audience
Robert,
is yelling
I
at the
hope he's
radio.
listening right now because he's gritting his teeth at me too. So I don't know where all these Cub fans come from, but I guess off the bandwagon in 2016. Hey, if you need a plumber, you need to call our friends at West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services, whether it's water, sewer, gas, or grease. They've been at it since 1993, fixing clogged drains, water heaters. You can call them at 646-5151, and the team at West Ark, they're super thankful that you trust them and for all the business over the years. That's West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Cleaning since 1993. 646-5151. That's 646-5151 for West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services.
Talked a little baseball there. We'll tell you some more of what happened in Baum-Walker Stadium this weekend as you got 2 of the 3 against Eastern Illinois. That's coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You know, you've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose yourself. I choose me over meth.
This message is sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and the Me Over Meth grant.
Is there anything worse than a cold shower? How about water damage after a leaking water heater? If it's time for a new water heater, you deserve the best. Right now, take $150 off a new tank water heater, or upgrade to endless hot water with a tankless water heater and get $300 off. Don't settle for good when you can have the best. Schedule today at GoPascal.com. Professional people, professional service, Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, your home for inflation elimination. We're on a mission to make used cars affordable for everyone. Our live market value pricing ensures you always get a great deal, and Rath Road Ready Reconditioning makes sure you always get a great vehicle. This month, we're making it even easier with up to $3,300 extra for your trade and prices up to $4,700 below retail. We know a lot of people have been waiting for just the right time to buy, and this is it. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. And for a real hedge against rising prices, ask about our exclusive Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They could save you another 20%. If you're ready to save some real money on a quality used vehicle and experience a better way to drive, call, click, or come by today. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination, just north of Phoenix on Towson, or online at rathauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Coke Zero Sugar tastes so good, people will take a taste any way they can. You never know when your best friend will lunge across a table and grab for it. A stranger could subtly swipe it, or your little brother might just ask for one too many sips. So no matter what you're doing, or who you're with, when you're enjoying a Coke Zero Sugar, be ready to protect it from takers at all times. Because one sip begs the question, is this the best Coke ever? Take a taste and see.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hull have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Callaway Paradigm Woods and Irons in stock February 24th, and Cobra Aerojet Woods and Irons arriving February 9th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January 24th, and new golf bags and shoes arriving daily. Book a time on their hitting bays with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Up by Walsh. Hogs double team.
Wow.
Council knocked it away. Stolen by Nick Smith to the other end. A dunk, and the Hogs are within 5.
All right, let's talk more about baseball series over the weekend against Eastern Illinois. We'll give away some tickets as well for their game against Illinois State on Wednesday. Also be looking out for tickets. I guess be hearing for ticket giveaways for this Wright State series this weekend as well.
Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by WT Equipment. They have 8 locations to take care of customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. And their newest locations in Searcy, but they're in Springdale, they're in Berryville, they're in Rogers. They're all across our state to take care of you. New Holland Agricultural and Construction Equipment. They got sales, service, and parts, so anything you need to stay going or get going, they've got you at WT Equipment. So look them up and find the nearest location close to you at WTEquip.com. That's WTEquip.com.
So Norm's at a little over 1,100 wins. Dave got to 800 this weekend. Guys, is Dave Van Horn going to surpass Norm DeBryan on the way he's headed?
If you could say 40 wins a year, I mean, you just do the math on that. That'd be 6-7 more years. Question is, do you think he'll coach 7 or 8 more seasons and stay and maintain this level of around 40 or so wins?
I'm not sure what his thought is on that, to be perfectly honest. That'd be something that, he'd have to discuss, and I don't know that he's, I don't get the impression he's thinking like that. There might not be a lot to discuss there. I mean, it's hard to project out 7 or 8 years, but if he coaches long enough, yeah, he'll pass him.
Dave's in his early 60s, is that right?
Somewhere like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I believe I'm
he's
right.
A year or two older than I am.
Based on the fact that some people I know went to school the same time he did, and they're 61, 62. Right. I think he's 61 or 62, somewhere in that neighborhood. So would you commit to coaching to near 70 years old? I think, and I don't know Dave. You know Dave, better than most, Chuck. I mean, what would Dave do if he wasn't coaching baseball? I don't see him going the Norm DeBryan route where he's going to go be a fundraiser in the foundation. I just don't. Baseball's what he does. I just can't imagine that he wants to spend a lot of years not doing baseball. So.
Well, I mean, that is what he does. Now, I've not been around Dave in that program in quite some time, and I don't want to pretend that I've got some kind of insight there that I don't, but I do know that, I mean, he's a baseball guy to the core. And, the coaches now, just very frankly, they don't have to go to work for the foundation anymore. Not just here, but other places. I mean, they're set. They got plenty of money. They're not trying to they don't have to keep bringing home a paycheck after they retire. Some of these old baseball coaches, they didn't make this kind of money. That's why they're still working. So, no, I don't see Dave doing anything like that. Now, look, let me say this. I think that if Dave wanted to be an athletic director somewhere down the line, I think he'd be a good one. I don't know that that's what he's thinking. I'm just kind of speaking off the cuff right there. But, no, I think Dave's a baseball man, and I would imagine he'll coach as long as he enjoys it.
How many former baseball head coaches in this league are ADs? I feel like that's pretty common with baseball and football coach. I don't know as much about basketball.
John Cohen comes to mind.
Yeah.
Well, Cohen's done it. Skip Bertman was the first one that I can really remember that became the athletic director from being a baseball coach. Ray Tanner had not quite the success Bertman had, but similar success. And he became the AD at South Carolina. And then Cohen, obviously at Mississippi State, now at Auburn, he was Mississippi State's baseball coach and Kentucky's baseball coach. I'd have to look around the country to see how often it happens. The traditional model back when I was a kid was the football coach becomes the AD. But it's, maybe it's a little bit different now. And look, I was just speaking off the cuff on that. I don't know that is anything he's ever entertained.
Well, you might get a headline out there that's
no, not anything like that.
Yeah. I think Hunter's doing a pretty good job. I don't know.
It speaks to Norm's success and Norm's longevity. I mean, we talked about this a week or two ago that in my lifetime, there's only been 2 baseball coaches ever at the University of Arkansas for a large percentage of our listening audience.
73?
1970,
well,
I believe it was.
The second one is, the first one was the mentor to the second one.
Yeah, I mean, so you just think about the longevity and the consistency in that program, but 1,100 wins is a big number to go after.
Chuck, how have you seen Dave evolve as a head coach since you were doing baseball? And I know you had the Norm and Dave laps. How have you seen him evolve as a head coach?
Well, it's difficult again for me to say lately because, I stopped doing it in 2014. By the way, I am going to do the game Wednesday. But I stopped doing it in 2014. So, the game has changed. I was kind of laughing over the weekend. I'm not sure I could do it now because the game's changed. About the third time a guy that was trailing by 3 runs swung at the first pitch in the 9th inning, I just might jump out of the booth. But the game's different now. I mean, they take their hacks, and so. But the game has evolved. I mean, it's a throw it as hard as you can, swing as hard as you can game now. It seems like sometimes you don't steal as many bases. But now listen, Arkansas still runs the bases very well, and that's always been a hallmark of his teams. You go from first to third, and you score from second, and you find a way to get home from first on an extra base hit. They run the bases very well.
You need some help filling out that scorebook. If you can't remember how, just talk to Ty. He'll set you up on Wednesday.
Thousands of other people that could help you.
Hey, glad to hear you're going to be there. I know you enjoy that one-off every now and then. Get a little bit of baseball.
It's been like 4 or 5 years, I think.
So. Hey, Sassy's Barbecue. You won't be there tonight. Eric Musselman Live, that's over. But you can get back to Sassy's and enjoy some great barbecue anytime. Barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more. And with all the March Madness on the way, make Sassy's your home base for watching all the games here in a few weeks. Plus, they can cater your next tailgate or watch party or whatever you got going on. Order online at sassysredhouse.com. That's Sassy's Barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more. Nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
SEC update when we come back, getting some other SEC basketball action from this weekend. That's next on the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own gun.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Remember this top 10 hit from 1983? Boy George, I Think You've Got It. It's Church of the Poison Mind by Culture Club. The culture is continuing to poison the minds of our youth by clubbing them with everything but the truth. But when we heed God's word, He gives us the solution to all the gender confusion. The true poison is believing that evil is good and good is evil. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yeah.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
We know Arkansas fell to Alabama by 3 on Saturday. Let's get into some other SEC games. Missouri goes to Athens, gets a 22-point victory. Mississippi State held off Texas A&M. They get a big win, 69-62. Kentucky blows out Auburn, 86-54. Tennessee drills South Carolina, 85-45. Vandy wins it home by 16 over Florida. Then Ole Miss beats LSU by 13. I also, like Chuck, decided to put myself through the torture of Ole Miss and LSU on Saturday night.
I only watched I watched all the Arkansas-Alabama game and didn't get to see a lot of the other ones, but I did not put myself through that Saturday night. I put myself through a nice dinner with my wife instead of watching that game.
You were smart to do what you did rather than what Chuck and I did. SEC standings, Alabama at the top, 15-1. Unless they drop both their games this week, it looks like they're going to be the regular season champ. They do have Texas A&M on Saturday. I don't know who they have. I think they might have Auburn midweek. We'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, they've got a big week ahead of them. Probably, as Chuck was saying earlier, will be a number 1 seed. A&M's behind them, 13-3. Kentucky's at 11-5. Tennessee's at 10-6. 2 quad 1 opportunities this week for Arkansas, Tommy. 1 on the road, 1 at home. You got 3 teams above you that are 9-7, and 2 teams behind you that are 7-9.
Well, the regular season, there's no bad losses left. There's no teams you got to avoid, can't lose games. There's no Georgias, South Carolinas, teams outside the top 100 in the net ranking. You're playing the creme de la creme kind of left in the SEC these last 3. So Arkansas's 3rd in net ranking in the league. Played Bama, as we know, Saturday. Tennessee's ahead of them. Kentucky's the team right behind them. So Arkansas plays 3 of the top 4 over the last 3 ball games.
Mm-hmm. If you were to play in the SEC tournament starting today, Arkansas would be the 8th seed, and they play at 12 o'clock next Thursday. Now, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but they are going to play on Thursday unless something changes based on the different tiebreakers and scenarios moving forward. We'll again keep you updated when Arkansas will play in Nashville next week.
Got to win just at least one of the last 2. Can't have an 0-2 week, and that's what you got to avoid is these 0-2 weeks.
And I think you can beat Tennessee tomorrow night. Tennessee is a team that struggles offensively at times. I know they had 80+ against the Gamecocks on Saturday, but South Carolina's not any good. You can beat Tennessee tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Got to find a way to win on the road. And if you get a choice, hey, you're going to win one, lose one. I know you'd like to win at home against Kentucky. I know what that means. But a road win, and yes, you have one at Kentucky, but that's the glaring hole. There another one that I'm missing, a quality road win that I'm not thinking about. I mean, that's the part of the resume that needs improvement. So if you could go to the committee with a resume of a road win at Tennessee and the Kentucky win earlier in the year, you've checked a lot of the boxes. Your conference record's not very good, but really outside of Tennessee, I mean, Tennessee's dipped. Outside of A&M and Alabama, who's got a stellar conference record? There may be some 10-win teams. You may end up an 8-win team. That's a 2-game gap. I mean, this is just a league with a lot of parity in its top 8 or 9 teams.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Speaking of the Vols, Tony Vitello suspended over the weekend with the NCAA inquiring about a transfer player. It's Maui Ahuna, I think is how you say his name. I might be butchering that. I apologize if I'm doing that but that was kind of the big news. I had a bunch of people texting me about that over the week. It didn't seem too sad that Tony V got suspended.
Well, this won't be indefinite. They'll get some answers. Just gets the process going. You got to start the process. And would you rather your coach be missing weekends and multiple games in February or when conference play begins in 3 weeks or so, mid-March, around the middle of the month in March. So they're kind of forcing the issue a little bit and forcing this to come to a head, so to speak, I would think, is part of the strategy here that Danny White and the team with Tennessee administration is trying to do here.
Yep, and
they're not going to leave him they're not going to leave him away from the team for long.
Mm-hmm. And that is your SEC update this morning.
Hey, it's brought to you by Wheels RV. A Hot Take Monday, always brought to you by Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Top brands like Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, and Alliance, all at the best prices. RV show prices right now at Wheels RV, and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
JT in Hot Springs says, in regards to Arkansas's NCAA tournament chances, just go 2-0 this week. Well, JT, if only it was that easy. Now, if you go 2-0 this week, you are locked in no matter what. Your net ranking is going to be well within the top 15. That would be 2 quad 1 victories to round out your season before Nashville in the SEC tournament. That'd be great. But there's no guarantee of that. These are 2 really quality opponents you're playing, one on the road in Knoxville, one at home in Fayetteville. And I tend to agree with you, Tommy, like you said. As much as I love beating Kentucky in basketball, I think for your tournament resume, you'd probably rather have that win in Knoxville.
Well, he's right about one thing. 2-0, and there is no doubt. No question. If you win these 2 this week, it's just about, are you a 7 seed or an 8 seed? And then if you go to the tournament and you win a couple of games, maybe go 2-1, something like that, you're probably a 7 or 8 seed at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Really no difference between 8 and 9. So, I mean, what's the ceiling? 2-0 this week, go win, what would be Thursday, Friday? You have to win 4 in the tournament to win. So that'd be your last 6. I mean, that seems very unlikely to think you'd go that path. But what would be the ceiling if you accomplished the SEC tournament title and won the 2 games this week?
You're at an 8 seed right now by most bracketologists rounded out. I think the ceiling at that point, if you won 6 straight games, let's say that there's 4 of the remaining 6 are quad 1 teams, the top 50 on neutral sides, you probably get down to a 6, maybe a 5, maybe the last 5 seed, but it's probably more like a 6.
I think that's the ceiling, yeah. I mean, I would say even 7 may be the ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In reality, probably 7 or 8 is where you're at. If you're talking, because we're talking probably an unrealistic scenario there. So that's everything goes right. Yeah. So if 6 is absolutely as best you can do, probably 7 or 8 is what you could realistically hope for.
Yeah. Well, in order to get some of these wins, these close wins, including a road win tomorrow night, got to hit some free throws.
They take 30 free throws. We took 29. The difference is, they made 5 more free throws than us. And as I've looked at the stat without looking at film, that's the difference in the game.
Yeah, I said it earlier, 264th this year compared to 39th last year. That's one of the glaring differences between this season teams. And we keep asking, why do you keep losing these close games? Well, you keep missing free throws, y'all. You go, 8 misses in the second half. You go 12 for 20 in the second half. You got to find a way to hit some free throws tomorrow night in Knoxville. We're gonna be sitting here on Wednesday morning and say the exact same thing. Great game, great defense, great effort. Missed at the free throw line. That's why you lost the game.
Well, those points down the stretch, I think go back to something Chuck said, because you watched this game from Saturday. It was about stopping the ball going to the rim. And this was a game where you saw defenders trying to retreat backwards, straight up, both directions. This was the game where the guards were driving to the hole. And whoever can stop that, pick up more charges, force the guards to dish out, that's probably the team that defensively is going to make a stand and stop, because that's the way Arkansas is going to continue to play.
Yeah, can't let Vescovy get any shots off. Whoever's guarding Sakai Ziegler, I would assume that's going to be Devontae Davis's responsibility. You can't let him get in the paint. He's their little scat point guard that's really, really good. It seems like he's been in the league for 10 years. You cannot let him get penetration and do whatever he wants, because otherwise Tennessee will beat you tomorrow night. It's going to be a fun one. I think the game's on, I think it's on ESPN2, if I remember that right. We should get the game notes at some point later today. I feel like I remember seeing that it was on ESPN2, but a fun matchup in Knoxville. I don't think you've won there in a minute. If there's a game that I'm forgetting, help me out on that, but I don't think it's been a few games since you've won in Thompson-Boling Arena. And if you were able to get a win tomorrow night, I don't. It's like Nick Smith said about the second half. They're not lacking confidence. They just kind of lacked execution at a certain point. I don't think you're going to give up 58 points to Tennessee in the second half, but you've got to find a way to score. That's going to be the issue tomorrow night is can you score against that really good defense that Rick Barnes and the Vols have.
It is on ESPN2. It is an 8 o'clock start, as you said. I don't know what the game is before it. It's not an SEC game, but they do play on ESPN2 tomorrow night. So on the network, it's 6 o'clock, Florida, Georgia. The late game, South Carolina, Mississippi State. The other game is Texas A&M at Ole Miss. That's on ESPNU, same time as the Razorbacks play.
So you're clearly the marquee game tomorrow night, where not only a lot of Arkansas and Tennessee fans will be watching, but some other SEC and college basketball fans will be tuning into what's happening in Knoxville.
Wednesday night, Auburn at Alabama will be that marquee game. It's on ESPN2. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Missouri LSU are the other games played on Wednesday night.
Yeah, again, this is a great opportunity for Arkansas. I know that you'll look at it as a really tough week with the Vols and the Cats ahead, but I mean, what you could gain in ground, not just in the SEC standings, but in terms of the quality wins that you could add to your resume, it's a big, big deal. And I think that Arkansas fans, again, there's a confidence that you have about you based on the way that your team has played in certain stints. And now it's just about, because this game's going to be tight tomorrow night, can you figure out how to close it out down the stretch?
Saturday's game, you're taking on Kentucky. It's Beat Big Blue Week, and the Beat Big Blue Blood Drive is going on, brought to you by the American Red Cross this week. We're teaming up with the Red Cross. If you can spare some time, you're healthy and eligible to donate blood. They want you to bleed Razorback Red this week and help beat Big Blue off the court. You can donate blood at the University of Arkansas this Tuesday through Friday from 10 to 4 on campus and help save lives and beat Kentucky off the court. To make an appointment, go to redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS and enter a sponsor code Big Beat Blue. Beat Big Blue. Schedule your appointment today. Visit redcrossblood.org or again 800-RED-CROSS, and that sponsor code again Beat Big Blue. Donate today and donate this week, Tuesday through the end of the week, 10 to 4 at the Union Ballroom, Wednesday and Thursday, and the Hyper Building on Friday.
Great. Chuck informed us last segment, Tommy, that he is doing the baseball game. It's been a few years since he's done one on Wednesday. We'll give away some tickets tomorrow on Wednesday as well. You want to give away a pair here? Or how many do you want to give away?
Yeah, we'll give away a pair here.
Okay. 877-377-6963. If you want a pair of tickets to Wednesday's game against Illinois State, we'll give away a pair here right now. What caller?
Caller 4.
Caller 4. I want to call Christian up again. Give tickets Wednesday's matchup against Illinois State. I think it's at 3, isn't it? I remember that right? I think that's when that game is.
I don't know off the top of my head. That sounds correct.
Yeah,
Hang on, I can look.
You've got Wright State this weekend, Illinois State Wednesday. Again, 18 straight home games for this Arkansas baseball team. Again, I don't think they've had that many games at home straight since Dave Van Horn's first season as a Razorback baseball player, which is, I think, in like the 80s, if I remember that right.
3 o'clock start against Illinois State.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to reassure that. But yeah, we're giving away tickets, and we'll make sure, again, first name, last name, where you're calling from, and then give Christian your cell phone number as well. We'll preview more of the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow. Tom Murphy's going to join us. Bruce Stanton, noted Tennessee fan, is going to join us as well. Get his thoughts on this upcoming matchup against his Volunteers. It's a big one in Knoxville tomorrow night. As we pointed out, it's the biggest game of the night in the SEC basketball side of things. We'll talk about that more on a Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush. Everyone have a great great Monday. We'll talk to you then.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
I am not who you say I am. I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education.